What we do here is go back.
One, two, one, two, one, two. There we go. That should be working now, I think. Microphone, there we go. Okay, and we'll get rid of mic aux. There we go. That should be better. Do we have sound now? Hopefully we do. Good evening. It is Saturday, the 3rd of May 2025. Currently Kath's birthday. My birthday in a couple of days' time, so we're celebrating our birthday weekend at the moment. And also for some of you in the UK and possibly elsewhere, there is a bank holiday. So potentially some of you may not have to go to work on Monday, which if you don't, that's awesome, fantastic. But for those of you who do, commiserations. The weather this week has been very much as we like on our birthdays, where it's been El Scorchio Tremendo here in the UK, and yeah, darkening up already, which is always a great thing. Been outside, got a little bit of sunshine this week, which is excellent. Also been working hard as well on some new videos, so it doesn't mean just because I'm a little bit tinted now that there won't be more content, but there was actually probably more this week made than normal. Anyway, I digress. Hopefully you can all hear and or see me, and thank you to all of you, our friends, our extended community, the MUB community, the Discord, our friends on Facebook as well. Thank you to everyone who has wished Kath a happy birthday today. She's not actually on Facebook, so I just relay the messages to her, although she does use my Facebook account to post stuff, so she does kind of see it.
I can't see.
You can see my account?
No.
Don't you see my account at all?
I just see ShopSmart.
Oh, right, okay. She doesn't see it. Anyway.
You've got to log out of ShopSmart.
I've been passing on the goodwill messages anyway. So yeah, hopefully you can all see me and hear me. Looks like everything is okay. No one's screaming or shouting. It's all looking good. We've got some super chats coming as well, so we better address those. Now, we've got some issues with lighting today because we've actually got the old studio lights back, and I'll do that one. If I can find it. There we go. There's a little bit of Maisie. And Kath's hitting a bit of boob there as well. Well done.
Am I?
Congrats. Actually, I should see who the super chat is from. There's one from Dave, and also, well, actually, there's a couple. Bless your hearts.
Start with the first.
Let's start with the first one. So the first one was from Mick Woods. Says, okay, the Peroni is now nice and chilled. I will retire to the upper chamber to watch in comfort. Good for you. I need to watch in comfort because this chair is horrendous. But thank you, Mick, for that £10. Much appreciated.
It's a stool, but thanks for the news.
Yeah, there's another one there from our good friend Glenn. Thank you, Glenn. £4.20, 420 Blaze It. This is happy birthday, Kath. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. And there's another one there from Dave Aitken, £2. Happy birthday, official Mub Banger. You're a banger.
Not an old banger.
Not an old banger. Although every year getting closer.
Cheeky.
Thank you very much, Dave.
Manage with that light.
And Mark Gaines there with...
Oh, that's another one.
Yeah, another one. It says, happy birthday, Kath. We've got another £10 super chat there. Thank you all so much. That is mucho generoso. Thank you. Like I said, it has been, yeah, it's been great weather this week here in the UK. We have some fantastic... Sorry.
I think one light's enough.
Yeah, I think we can probably get away with one light, actually.
But
Yeah.
we've got Maisie who likes to sit on my lap.
Sorry, Kath, you're going to have to get up again. Because Rasher, bless his heart, has been extremely generous there, coming in with €50.
Wow.
A little extra for the birthday of the lovely Mrs. Mike's Unboxing. Thank you so much. Much appreciated. That is extremely kind of you. All of you. You're all fantastic, lovely people. And even those of you that aren't able to donate or do whatever, it's absolutely fine. It's great. The fact that you're just part of this wonderful community and you join us on our live streams and communicate with us on Discord and all that kind of stuff. It's fantastic. We love you all. We love Rasher the most, though. And there's Mick Woods with another $9.99. Happy birthday, Kath.
Hold on.
It's all kicking off. It's all kicking off. Thank you all so much. All right. Okay, so that's the end of the stream. Thanks very much, and we'll catch you again same time next week. Oh dear. I think I've put on a bit too much weight, and my chair keeps on sinking. Let's try that. There we go. Something's bleeping. Where's that noise coming from? I can hear noise. It must be that Kath's Discord. Actually, that is a little bit pissed, isn't it?
Ah, Dave Aiken said he wasn't calling me an old banger, just referencing when you shout bang, lol.
Yeah, that's. I knew that, didn't you? Oh, I got that.
It's alright, I don't get very offended easy.
Oh dear. O'Reilly says your chair's sinking. Stop leaking gas. It does feel like I sat on it the other day, and it felt like because it's working now. It's like it's bouncing.
Right.
Anyway, yeah, weird. So there we go. Yeah, that's put me right off my stride now.
And me.
Oh, hang on. I know what it is. My phone is... there is a PayPal donation. Thank you very much for the PayPal donation. Oh, come on. Recognise my stupid face. That's the whole point, that you're supposed to recognise my face.
It's because you were smiling.
I was smiling. I think that's from Jan. Dutch Jan. It wants to use my... You'll have to do it on your thing. Because I can't do the 2FA thing. Was it Dutch Jan? We'll get there.
Maybe not. I don't think we've
got so many phones at the moment, it's ridiculous.
We haven't set up that
Willie Bob says, question, where did you get the wheeled stool from? Mike, once again, happy birthday to the fine Mrs. Caff. This was from Amazon. It's they call it like a tattooist, or it's like a milking stool kind of thing. It was only about 20 quid. I had the one previously which was much nicer, which has like a nice, almost like a saddle shape to the seat, and it was like much more comfortable. No real back support, but it was better. Paul Lamont says, Mike, did you find your Ryzen 5 3400G? No, I still haven't found it. So yeah, Jan Dammer sent £20 donation. Thank you very much. Note from Jan. Van Harty Gfelicitered. Yeah, you might want Google Translate on that, because I have no idea what I've just said or what that means. I'm guessing it means Van Harty. Van Harty.
This is Mike, who says he can speak fluent German on his CV.
On my CVs, it did say that I could speak German and all sorts, but clearly
and when we
I'm not
watched
able to.
RTL 4, he could translate really well.
W. Wenton spent another super chat in. Damn, those iPads only go to 99 cents increments. Thank you very much. Kath's getting her exercise tonight. She's going to have a sit down in a minute. She says, chance will be a fine thing. Bless you, that's very, very kind of you. Skystalker says, happy birthday, Kath. I hope Mike has been taking good care of you. I've actually been rubbish today. I'll be honest, I have been rubbish. That isn't anything unusual, to be fair. But Angel, bless her, took Kath, well, Kath drove, but they went to Kemp's Garden Centre, or Kemp's Plants, which is on Wesley Road here in Bristol, which is actually Kath and Nick and Lee and her brother Lee used to all play together because they used to live like one street apart. So Lee Kemp, who's the nursery it is, he started that basically kind of when he left school and has been doing it ever since. And it's gone from being a tiny little shed in the middle of nowhere to becoming a massive site on one of the main roads kind of between Bristol and Bath, or the A roads anyway. And yeah, he's doing very well. So if you ever want any plants, head over to Kemp's Plants at Westerly and say that Kath and Mike sent you. And you'd probably go, huh? Who? He's a very busy man. Yes, so yeah, Kath, Kath and Angel went to Kemp's Nurseries. They've also got a restaurant there as well, so you can go in, well, more of a cafe really. You can go in, look at the plants you want, chill out, and then you can go to the cafe and have some food. Kath had a panini with bacon, brie, and onion and cheese, I think, in like a panini with a salad.
Bacon, brie, and cranberry.
Bacon, brie, and cranberry. There you go. Happy days. There's another $20 from David Underhill. Thank you very much, Mr. Underhill.
I'm still catching up. I'm not thanking people, by the way.
He says there, happy birthday from your biggest Australian fan. There you go. Lord Erectus might have something to say about that. Dutch Jan says, Van Harty, Gel, Felicer, or whatever that is. I can't pronounce it very well. Equals happy birthday.
Oh, never been wished.
Thank you, Dutch Jan. Yeah, you haven't, have you?
No, never.
She's had other things said to her in German, but not happy birthday. Ah, dear. Rasher says, all together now, saying happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you. You look like a monkey and smell like one too. Just remembered that from my childhood. Excellent. Sky says, Tina's also taken up some gardening these days too. I'm personally not into dirt. I don't mind doing some gardening. I don't really know what I'm doing. I like the more kind of, is it architectural, or the physical stuff with the garden, like mowing the lawn, doing the edging, digging it up, putting in borders, putting in planters, all that kind of stuff. That sort of stuff, the construction side of it, I do quite enjoy. But the whole planting thing kind of slightly bemuses me. Like, you've got to put certain plants in certain areas and at certain times and with certain other plants. Yeah, it's a little bit much for my tiny brain. Nicholas Barlow says happy birthday from the USA. Dutch Jan says it's Dutch. There you go. It would be, being your Dutch Jan. Yeah, Kath said it was German.
I didn't. I thought we just assumed, didn't we?
No, we kind of did. Oh,
I'm sure
dear.
you said it. Maybe not. Sorry.
I know. Never mind. It's all
I've
good.
never been on X.
Glenn says German's the worst. Good one. Like that. Alexa says, Kath, you should think about having a birthday every Saturday. I agree. Free Speech Dad says, happy birthday, man. It's Kath's birthday. She is not really a man. She has the front lady bottom in the things, so.
Things?
Not a man. Otherwise, our marriage has been one hell of a sham. Probably a little bit too much information there, but what the heck. Anyway, thank you all for joining us on this Saturday. It is Saturday the 3rd of May, 2025, Kath's birthday, if you haven't already noticed. My birthday next week. Looking forward to that. Not. Don't like birthdays, don't know why. I think it's because you get older. There's a certain point when you're younger, you just, every single year, you're like, oh, I can't wait to be 16, or it was even earlier, like when you can't wait to be a teenager, like 13. Oh, yeah, I'm a teenager. Or 16 because you can leave school, or 18 because you can buy a pint or whatever. Certain ages is like, oh, it's cool. Like 21, key to the door. 25's somewhat of a milestone, I guess, as well, for some reason. Mostly for insurance purposes, because like if you're a driver of a bike or a car, normally at 25, your insurance starts going down a little bit. It generally doesn't, because inflation knocks it the other way, but you do get a little bit of a discount after 25.
Since the time I started learning.
Yeah.
Neither gone up nor down.
30 was a weird birthday. I didn't like 30. 30 was a weird one. 30 was like, wow. In 10 years' time, I'm going to be 40. That's scary. And then you get to 40 and you think, oh, 40 is the new 30. And then you kind of start thinking every birthday after, it's like, the next big milestone is coming. Say a quick prayer and hopefully we make it to the next decade. Anyway, that's a little bit grim. Let's carry on talking about what we're actually going to talk about tonight. So, as you probably guessed from the thumbnail, for those of you that are actually joining us, thank you. Again, massive appreciation. I know the weather has become significantly better for us here in the UK and elsewhere. So if you've managed to stay stuck in front of your computer tonight, we do appreciate it. I would personally rather be out in the garden myself, enjoying a cold beverage. But actually, I kind of like being here with you guys as well, so it's all pretty awesome. Kath's got her hand up, she's waving. She has a question.
John Turley says, hi to us both.
Hi, John.
This is my first time in chat, although I'm a fully paid up member.
John Turley, yes, you are. I do. Yes, of course. We appreciate you massively. And thanks for joining us in the chat. The live stream, anyway. Nice to see you. Darren says, happy 70th birthday, Mike. For those of you that don't have translation on, that was FU. I'm not 70. I do get that feeling sometimes. When I wake up in the morning, it's like, right, which side should I try and move first to try and roll myself out of the bed? You get to that point. There is a point in your life where you do that. Especially if you're one of those people like me who struggles with kind of portion control, let's say. I am a gregarious person, I think is fair to say. And I have a very difficult time stopping, especially with things like hobnob biscuits, chocolate hobnob biscuits. That's why I don't buy them anymore, because I know if I buy them, I'll start eating them, and it's like, before I know it, the pack's gone. And then I feel, oh, really shouldn't have done that.
Especially when you promised me now.
And then regret it. Yeah. So yeah, I am one of these people where I do struggle with portion control. And I always got eyes bigger than my belly. It's like, if I'm cooking a fry-up, it's like, yeah, have like 3 bacons, 3 sausages, tin of beans.
What I don't get.
4 slices of bread. And then I get halfway and it's like, oh my God, I'm actually going to die.
What I don't get is we have a tin of beans between us on a fry-up.
Yeah.
But when we have beans on toast, you also think it's greedy to have a tin each. But you'll have half a tin.
Yeah.
On a whole fry-up.
I don't know.
Yeah. A tin with
it's a ratio thing, I think. Jason says, I'm 21 next year. Oh my days. I don't know if I'd love to be 21 again, knowing what I know now. And I would make lots of better decisions in my life. especially health-wise, you don't realise when you're younger that, yeah, how good you've got it. You really do. Unless you've got some sort of like crazy medical condition going on, like 21 is like peak human being. 21 to 25 is your peak, definitely. After that, it's all downhill.
Well, I remember when dirt was shiny. Did you read that one?
I did, yeah. The dirt was shiny, yeah, it was good.
I'm so behind.
Roderick Kennedy says 71 in December. Every day is a blessing. That's the way I always see it. Kath always goes, well, always get mad, but I don't make any plans. Honestly, I make no plans. I don't look far ahead. I try not to look behind. And basically, if I wake up the next day and we're all good, happy days. And let's just hope it happens again tomorrow. That's all I do. And yeah, I don't plan ahead really. I do with videos and stuff like, well, I better do that next week, or yeah, I better look into that. But yeah, I don't look ahead at all really. Because like, you never know what's going to happen, do you? Just, yeah, take it one day at a time and be cool. I do try and do that. Gamer World YouTube has become a supporter. Thank you very much, Gamer World YouTube. Much appreciated. And thank you to all of you that are members.
Whoops,
thank you very much.
Light,
Kath just can't stop getting up and down. She just wants to turn that disco ball on. Bless her heart. Mortal is 19 this year. Good now. 19. I got trousers older than that. I've definitely got shoes older than that.
Bought your house when you were that age?
I did. I bought a house when I was that age. I was 18 when I bought a house.
19, I was 20.
Yeah. Skystalker says, that sounds like me and beer. What do you mean I'm out of beer? The sun is still shining equals 21-year-old Sky. Oh, I know.
Hey, George.
Alessa says, I'm also 21 times 3 plus 4. Many more years to come. Dave says, don't you make any plans because Kath has it all sorted for you? No, really, we don't plan anything, really. It's just like, yeah, we just bumble through, and it's like, take every day as it comes, really. It's kind of nice to live like this as well, because like, we sort of spend ages like, oh yeah, let's save up to do this, or let's save up to buy that, or let's do this. Now it's just like, just, yeah, every day. It's like, whatever will be, will be.
But if you had your way, you wouldn't have bought a house, and you wouldn't have planned getting married. And
if I had my way, I would have probably done absolutely nothing and been a bum. I think most of us, at heart, I'm lazy. I've really struggled to get motivation. Motivated, whatever. I've struggled to get going. So, yeah, it's nice that Kath's here to kind of, yeah, keep me going.
I'm not as organised as I used to be.
Dutch Jan says, I can't join something with PayPal. I'm not sure what you mean there. If I can help you, I will. Arnold Albert says, birthday cheers, Kath. Thank you, Arnold. Mark Berry says, I'd like to be the dude in Back to the Future and go back in time and bet on the right horses, knowing the winner in advance. Oh yeah, wouldn't that be great? Somewhat cheating, but it would be nice. Kath's giving me a thing. PayPal. Who's that from? From our good friend O'Reilly. Thank you very much, O'Reilly. He's sent us a £20 PayPal donation. Thank you very much. There's O'Reilly wishing Kath a happy birthday. Many thanks, O'Reilly.
Thanks, O'Reilly.
You're a lovely man. You're all lovely. Some of you are lovely men. Some of you are lovely women. Some of you are lovely, slightly undecided. But it's all good.
And cats. Molly.
And cats, yeah.
Molly and
Slim. I can't think of the cat's name now.
Slim, wasn't it? Something. But David Underhills.
Skystalker says, yes, Mike, you aren't lazy. I've seen lazy and you ain't it. I would be, given the choice, I would probably get up even later than I do anyway. Although I tend to be a little bit of a night owl. So I tend to be sort of like, I want to get up. I wake up about, I don't know, 7ish. Then the kids are getting ready to go to work and stuff, and so I let them have the bathroom because I'm generous like that. I stay in bed so they can have a clear shot at the bathroom, and then when they're gone, it's like 8:30 or so, sometimes I'll get up then, otherwise I'll just stay in bed.
Sorry, Dutch Jan.
But I quite often will work through till kind of midnight, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. That's less likely these days, but normally I go to bed about midnight and then spend like an hour answering YouTube questions or planning the next day. So I do the hours, I just don't do it at the same time as everybody. When the COVID thing was on, me and Kath were basically working for American time because the weather was so hot. It was like, well, we'll stay up till like 4 o'clock in the morning.
All the neighbours are out partying all day. Every day.
Go to bed.
Don't make videos of the noise.
Then get up the next day about midday, 2 o'clock in the afternoon sometimes, and then just
roll into the garden.
Roll into the garden and then carry on until like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. It was nuts. Quite a few times we actually went to bed when the birds started singing in the morning, which was really weird. Anyway, moving on.
See,
Dave says, Kath, you're going to be able to afford the entire reduced selection with this many discs. Yeah.
I rarely go down there now, actually. Mike goes.
Oh, Dutchman says, I can't become a member. What, with PayPal? Are they not allowing that now?
I think it's got to be through some YouTube thing in it.
Yeah, YouTube payments don't take PayPal, do they?
You had to do it on my card, didn't you?
Yeah.
Last donation you gave.
Sucks. The other way you can, well, if you don't want to become a member, you can join Patreon. I'm not sure if they do PayPal. And with Patreon, you do get slightly earlier access, and also we get more of the actual funds as well. So if you do want to contribute to the channel, you want to be donating some fashion, then you can via Patreon. And yeah, I think we get 90% of what you actually pay, I think, before the government take their tax out of it anyway. Rather than YouTube taking 30% straight away. Bastards. Anyway, moving on. So, tonight on the stream, we will be taking a look at some bargain parts. Now, if you aren't already aware, which you probably are, we have a Discord. I will put a link for it in the chat, if that works. Yes, it does. So we have a Discord, believe it or not. And in that said Discord, there is a channel called eBay Bot Bargains, I think it's called. Something along those lines. But basically, it pings you every now and then when there's a bargain which appears on eBay. And it's been great. I love it. And from what I can tell, from looking at the stats, a lot of you are enjoying it as well. So hopefully, some of you out there have managed to get yourselves some fantastic eBay bargains. Now, myself, I cannot resist a bargain, much like I cannot resist that last hobnob in the pack. So I have been purchasing items, and tonight on the stream we'll be testing some of those said items to see if they actually work or not. Otherwise, I'm going to have to leave some very bad feedback and go through the whole returns process. But like with most things in life, it is that risk situation on eBay. If you see a bargain, you can go for it, and potentially, yeah, it might be great. It might be a pain in the backside. You never know. So hence why we're doing this, because I've got to generally do this anyway. So I thought, well, why not take you lot along for the ride? And potentially we might have some interesting things happen. If we don't, that's great for me, less good for you. But at the moment we are in a very much unknown situation. So yeah, we'll just see what happens. So I think it's probably a good idea if we actually start to introduce I was going to say parts, and I was thinking about saying prices. So I messed up the word altogether. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce the parts and then discuss the prices. And that way you can you can work out in your own heads whether or not you think that these bargains are bargains or whether I'm making it up. Because I might be, you never know. So let's take a look. And actually there is one of the bargains in tonight's bargain bin, which I'm not entirely sure if it did actually come from eBay, because, oh, well done. The lovely man that is Zero Defects actually, well, I bought some RAM a while back off him, 16 gigs of DDR4, and he mentioned something about it that he couldn't get it to run at a certain speed. And I'm like, that's okay, that's fine, it's cheap enough, whatever, I'll just buy it. I'm going to use it in the media system in the front room anyway, so it's absolutely fine, even if it just runs at stock JDEC speeds like 2133 or 2400, it'd be absolutely fine. It makes no difference in the Intel systems anyway, really. So, go on.
Reality. We liked the classic earlier.
Oh, antiques.
They must have been expensive.
Antiques. I like that. Viali earlier said, looking at the thumbnail from this stream, it's not going to be talking about PC parts. It's more like Antiques Roadshow with some of the old kit. Hey, a bargain's a bargain. Whether it's new, whether it's old, who cares? And also, I realised that I'd come to the point where I didn't really have a great deal of AM4 stuff knocking around. So, anyway, that gives you a hint of what's coming up. So back to the RAM, yeah. So zero defects, bless him. I took the RAM and said, yeah, I'll put it in the machine. I didn't get it to run at the XMP speed, but I put it down like a clock or so lower, I think it was at the time. I can't remember, it was a couple of weeks ago. And he said, oh, you can send it back if you want, or I'll send you the money. I said, no, it's fine, it's fine. Like, they work. They do what they're intended to do, but I just wanted to let you know that, yeah, I couldn't get it to run at XMP. He's even sent me the receipt for them, so if I wanted to, I could send them back to PMY, or I think it's PMY. Yeah, PMY. So I could send it back. But it's not a problem anyways. So this week, he messages and says, oh, I found a deal, and I'm sending you some DDR4. So it's like, you don't need to do that, but I'm not going to look a gift horse in the mouth, so thank you very much. So there is some RAM here, which I'm not sure if it did appear on the eBay bargains list. It has got a CCL label on it, but CCL do also sell from eBay. So zero defects, Alan, if you're in the chat. And there he is, yeah. Sunglasses are on. Yeah, did the RAM come from the eBay bot as a bargain link, or was it just something you found yourself? Or was it in our bargains no chat, which covers basically the entire spectrum of the internet? So regardless of country, you can post deals in there to help out your Follow Mub members. Ah, it was an Easter deal on the CCL website. Brilliant. Thank you for that. I wasn't too sure. It still had a CCL label on it, so, and it didn't look like it had been opened, so I thought, well, it can't be a used set.
It was an Easter deal.
Yeah.
CCL website.
Just read that. Yes, cool. Excellent. David Underhill says, in 50 years, there will be a show giving appraisals of old PC parts. Yes, your Gigabyte 1050 GPU is worth at least 5 cents. Right, let's have a look through what we've got here. So let's start off with some of the RAM deals I picked up, because these are smaller boxes and it's easier to move. So this is the RAM we got from Alan, Zero Defects. Thank you very much appreciated. I still haven't opened this as of yet, because I wasn't too sure what the deal is with them. So excellent stuff. That is some, what was it, Kingston Fury Beast, 16 gig. DDR4 dual channel. I'm not sure, is that 32 or 3600? I think it's 32. I cannot see. Why do they make the writing so small? They probably don't make the writing too small, it's just my eyesight.
Do you want me to see? You've got your phone there, you can magnify it.
I know, but that's, I prefer the old school technology.
What,
LED looking gas. It is...
Who's this? That's my chair.
I still can't tell. Oh, 32C, so yeah, that must be DDR 3200. So yeah, excellent stuff. Thank you for that. The next one I got, so this is some, obviously as you can tell, Vengeance LPX. This was a weird one. Managed to pick this up because what it is, the deals bot basically goes through and looks at certain prices on individual items and certain price thresholds. So if it's underneath a certain price and it's not been billed on, or it's got a short time left, it'll come up. So normally for Corsair Vengeance LPX 32 or 3600, 16 gigs, you're normally looking at paying somewhere between the sort of, well, about £30 here in the UK, if you're lucky. So this one was actually a used one, and this I've actually written on the back, so I remember how much I paid for this stuff. So this was £20 and 70 pence, including shipping, which for 16 gigs of 3600 DDR, I think is great. If you can get it for 20 quid or thereabouts, it's a freaking awesome deal. Like, yes, it isn't new, but potentially with Corsair stuff, you can still use the warranty because they're pretty cool with that. Quite often you don't need to show a receipt, just to say, look, it was a gift, someone bought it for me, and you're all good to go. So, yeah, that was a pretty good deal. £20 and 70 pence. Let me know what you think in the chat. Is that a good price? Obviously, if it works. I think it's pretty decent myself. And the last set of RAM is some Gskill Ripjaws S5s. Now these I was a little bit umming and ahhing about because the price wasn't brilliant, and they're not the fastest. So these are DDR5 5200, so almost kind of JDEC, I think. Is that JDEC? No, 4800 is JDEC, I think. Maybe it is, I'm not sure. CL36 as well, so not the fastest of RAM. But what does it for me on these is they are quite low profile, and also they got white heat spreaders, which, yeah, I thought was pretty good. These, I don't think I paid too much, but I would have liked them to have been cheaper. As you can see on the back there, I paid £49.98, which for 32 gigs of DDR5 RAM isn't brilliant at the moment. I have seen, is that coming apart? No. I have seen similar from Amazon France at the moment for Crucial, which is a little bit faster, for a similar sort of price. But this was bought about a week ago, so at the time, like 50 quid for 32 gigs of RAM, it didn't seem too bad. Generally, you're going to pay about 60, 70, maybe 80 pounds for slightly faster RAM, so yeah, wasn't brilliant, but it's Gskill. Gskill RAM is pretty decent. They're Ripjaws. I think they look really nice. And these are actually going to be paired with my MSI B450 Edge Wi-Fi, which actually is all white and has got little red accents like this RAM has. So that is going to pair with that perfectly. Seems a very kind of, not daft, but yeah, a little bit of a pointless thing. You can just chuck any old RAM in there. But I saw it, it seemed quite decent price, because it was like £42, no, £44 something or other plus postage. And I was like, well, then I looked at the postage after and I was like, oh, actually the postage is a bit steep. But anyway, so there you go, 50 quid, it's okay. It'll be absolutely fine. And if I do potentially put together a small media center PC on the AM5 platform with that little thermal take TR100 case, you know, the little hydrangea blue case in blue and white, that RAM I think would look nice in there as well, with the B650i Night Devil motherboard. So that potentially might go in there. It was a bit cheap, and I slightly regret it. Anyway, yes, Kath.
Michael Ellingham.
Michael Ellingham. Can I run SAS hard disk drives on Windows? You can do if you've got a SAS controller. That's going to be the only problem you're going to have, finding a SAS controller. I don't think many other mainstream motherboards would have a SAS controller on it. You might need to buy a separate PCIe one. But yeah, they should be bootable. Matthew Day says, wonder what the chips are. Yeah, I'm not too sure. Jason PN says, interested in that GTX 1060 you won from me in a bidding war. Were we both bidding on that? Oh, sorry. I'll sell it back to you. Paul Lamont says, I paid 52 quid for Amazon Warehouse 32 gig Fury DDR5 RAM. That's a good price. 50 quid for 32 gigs of DDR5, I think it is a good price regardless. But when it comes into like the slightly slower CAS latency and also the frequency, like you can probably overclock the shit out of it. DDR5 is pretty good for overclocking. At least it can be. But that's running at 1.2 volts. So if I put it to 1.3 volts or higher, I could probably run these at 6000 easy, if not 6400. But we'll see. So that is the RAM. Next we have...
Check what modules are you using.
I can't at the moment, because I'll have to find out how to open those up. I've never opened those up actually, the Ripjaws. I guess you just heat them up, but we'll see. Right, next one is a motherboard. So this is, I've gone a bit old school with this, to be fair. So this is the MSI B450M Mortar, not the Mortar Max or the Mortar Wi-Fi, just the plain simple Mortar. This one is 2000 series ready, so hopefully, well, it doesn't matter because it's got a boss flashback button on, so we're all good. I've had one or two of these before, and they've always been really good boards. The VRM was excellent. You could put in like a 3900X and it'd be absolutely fine, no worries at all. You've got debug LEDs, you've got USB Type-C, you've also got, you've got Mystic Light, but it's only RGB, not addressable, I think, if I remember rightly. I need to check that. It shows on there a multicolored RGB thing, but anyway, we'll see. So this one was in basically good condition, and I've wrote it discreetly in the box. £40 and 45 pence, including postage. So it basically looks like everything is there. You've got the SATA cables, you've got all the manuals, etc, etc. Let's go to the overhead camera and you can take a closer look. It comes with the I/O shield as well, which is always beneficial, and it's the proper MSI one. It comes from the factory, which is good. And the board itself seems to be in pretty good nick. The only thing I did notice is missing 2 of the screws for the AMD retention sockets, but other than that, I think it's fine. I think it's got RGB. Yeah, there's JRGB there, so it's got normal RGB, which is okay. Yeah, reasonable VRM heatsink over there. It's basically the Tomahawk, but in a smaller form. The B450 Tomahawk, that is. You've got the debug LEDs, 4 RAM slots, 4 SATA ports, USB 3.0. So yeah, it's not outrageously like cool or anything, but it covers all the bases and will be nice for a very inexpensive little flip system. Again, 40 quid for a B450 motherboard these days is not bad at all. They generally tend to be going for what seems to be actually extraordinary prices these days. When you're trying to buy a used motherboard, B450, like brand new, some of these were not much more than 50 quid anyway. But obviously that was a good few years ago now. Times have changed. And yeah, things are very different. So, kind of is what it is.
So the B450 MSI Mobile is only brand new here.
Yeah, they get, over in Australia, they get some really good prices. I'm not sure how it's managed. Yeah, and weather for that matter. So anyway, nice little motherboard, 40 quid. I'm pretty happy with that, as long as it works, which we'll try and find out a little bit later on. Oh, crap. Also, we saw this one a little bit last week. This is the B450-A Pro MAX, and it's empty box, but at the moment you can see I paid £31.75 for the ATX version of the Mortar, effectively. So that's pretty cool. We know that works because that is actually on our test bench. So we're going to be using this test bench to test out our RAM, and also we've got some graphics cards to look at as well. So I suppose we could look at that next. Yes, Gav?
Matthew Day says there's a B550 on the bottom now.
Typical, there would be. Is it a good price? Buy it for me. Right, next up, we've got this one. Now this was a bit of a difficult choice, to be fair, because it's an older graphics card now. It's a GTX 1060. It is the 6GB model, which is its kind of saving grace. But the thing about this particular one is the fact that this is the ASUS ROG Strix Gaming. So you've got the nice RGB, you've got 3 fans. It's a premium version of the GTX 1060. So it runs nice and cool, it looks good, and it should be an easy seller. Yes, Kath?
Sorry, it's mono.
Oh, Mortal. The eBay bot has been fantastic, was able to score an RTX, let me put it on the screen. The eBay bot has been fantastic, was able to score an RTX 3080 12GB for just over 200 quid, thanks to it. Should be arriving Tuesday, I hope. Looking forward to more great deals for a long time to come. Yeah, you and me both. I think it's fantastic. It's doing a really good job finding some real deals, like the motherboards, 2 motherboards for 70 quid, basically. You can't go too far wrong. You really can't. Jason says, nice to get the box as well. Yeah, I think so. Viali, question mark, you still got those fans?
Not got those.
Oh, still, no, I still haven't got those fans. I am rubbish.
And then the one after.
Senior Mobius, how you doing, Senior Mobius? I hook up my PC speakers to my monitor via 3.5mm jack normally, but I tried hooking them up to my MSI B450 motherboard via 3.5 recently and noticed a drop in FPS in game. Is this normal? No, that isn't normal. Well, if you're running your speakers from your monitor, it will be using the graphics card's own HDMI to video output. Whereas if you plug it directly into your PC, it's going to be using the onboard sound. So maybe the onboard sound is problematic, driver-wise maybe. Who knows? Yeah, I'm not too sure about that. Anyway, let's take a look at the... actually, we'll take a look at this when we put it on the test bench. I think that's probably a better bet. Oh, actually, I should tell you the price, which I have written down in here somewhere. So yeah, on the inner flap, there we go, £54.48, which I actually don't think is too bad. Like 50 quid for a graphics card, especially one which looks quite nice and is an ASUS Strix, a premium model, inside the box. If it works, great. I think for most people, this is probably still going to be fine. Jason says, I already know the price, lol. Yeah. Yeah, okay. For 55 quid, 1060, 6 gig, I think it's pretty decent.
What's that? Ooh, sorry, no thanks. Yeah, they sealed.
I can steal them.
Just have a look. So Shaky says... that's right, I'm just reading that, so yeah, good. Happy days. So the last of the graphics cards is this one here, which is in a slightly unassuming box. So this is the inner, I guess, for what it would have normally have been. So this is the Gigabyte RX 6700 XT. Sorry for the noise. So, triple fan version. This is the gaming OC version of the Radeon RX 6700 XT, 12 gig. Metal backplate, nice slimline design. It's got a little bit of a kind of mark on it there from something, whether it be tea or coffee, I don't know. I might peel that label off at some point. But overall, it's in pretty decent condition. The fans all appear to be absolutely fine. So, yeah, pretty good. And also, something which I think I've recognised on this one, this actually has dual HDMI. So 2 HDMIs and 2 display ports, which is kind of cool. I do like to have 2 HDMIs, especially for streaming PCs and stuff like that. So you can have 2 HDMI monitors and not have too many problems. Bless you.
Thank you.
So yeah, that's a nice card. And this one I paid £208 for. So for a 6700 XT, I think that's a pretty good deal. £208. Bear in mind that the one I used in the last build I had, I paid closer to 250 for. So £208 I think is a very good deal. Again, assuming that it works. Which hopefully we'll find out shortly. I think that is it. Oh, Raj has become a member for 6 months. Thank you very much, Raj. Oh, he has been a member for 9 months, sorry. Says, happy Saturday all. How you doing, Raj?
Become dyslexic for a second.
I did go dyslexic. Sinister Chef says, I have a Gigabyte RX 7600. Looks about the same too. They didn't change much at all. They generally didn't. Jason says, if you ever need ports, get a Gigabyte Aurorus model. I have a 2080 Ti with 7 ports. Wow. Mortal says, I remember when Mike scored a 4080 for just £260 back in December. That was a mad cheap deal. It was, and actually, fun enough, the same company that we got those from actually posted another deal this week, which was very kind of similar for some, I think it was a processor, which turned out to be very cheap. Greg says, why are white parts generally more expensive than black? That's a good question. I guess it's economies of scale. Traditionally, most people would be buying black parts, so you'll sell more, so the more you sell, the cheaper it gets to make them, because you're buying more materials, etc, etc. Whereas with the white parts, generally they were more of a kind of, well, I don't know, they used to be like one of those things where it was like a unique thing. So they didn't make many of them, or some manufacturers would wait ages and then release like a white version of whatever it was. So yeah, it just cost more to make them because they probably do smaller product runs. These days, it isn't quite the same, but...
Sorry, Raj, 9 months. You put 6 months in my head, I put 6 months on there
Oh,
then.
did you?
That's Jan pointed it out. Whoops.
Yeah, the graphics card, I've still got it. It's underneath the table. I'm actually scared to use it because that is the best deal I've ever had in my entire life. And almost I'm scared to use it. It seems stupid. I am waiting. My PC that I use for video editing at the moment is a white PC. So white motherboard, pretty much. White graphics card, white CPU cooler, white case. The power supply doesn't need to be white because it's a back to front one. But yeah, it's basically the whole PC is white. And I put the 4080 in there and it just looks weird. This big black, huge graphics card in the middle of a white PC, which is what it's supposed to be for. So the theory is I'm going to, this is probably a bad idea, but I'm going to go from a 14700K on Intel, which is what that is, probably to a 7700X on a B650 motherboard, but in a black case, so I can use my black graphics card, which seems actually, the more I say it, the more stupid it sounds, but I might do that anyway, but we'll see. I have so many things that I need to figure out in my head, and I get to that point where like I get that paralysis where there's so many options, and I know that whichever I do is going to be a daisy chain effect. So if I do one PC, then I'll end up changing another, and I'll change another, and that whole chain starts. Matthew Day does that a lot, or at least used to. So you get like an upgrade pass. So right, you take that from that one, put it in that PC, then that PC goes to that one, that, and this whole daisy chain thing carries on. It's absolute bedlam. Anyway, Jason says I would sell it personally. That's a lot of money. It is a lot of money, and I do want to use it, but it's just really weird in my PC, and it upsets me because the PC is literally like, my desk is here, like above my head, or the top shelf, and the PC is on the shelf. So literally, I'm always looking at my PC, and it would just, yeah, it would drive me mad looking at it. Nick Barnes says, I thought Intel 13th and 14th Gen were not reliable nor performed well with 2 CCDs. I went from a 13900K, I downgraded to a 14700K. I noticed very, very little difference between the two, to be fair. And yeah, generally it's been very stable. It idles, it sips power when it's idling, which is great. I love that. But under load, it does absolutely tank the power supply. It really does. So I would like to change it for an AM5. I have been considering it for a long time, but I don't know if I should. I paid so little for that 14700K, and then obviously with that, yeah, regardless, it's a thing. The upgrade train, yeah, Ordinary Dude says the upgrade train is the one of the reasons why I got a Mac. I likely sit on this thing for a decade. I know. Dutch Jan says I bought my RX 6700 XT Red Devil at the end of 2023 for 260 bucks. Sorry, 260 euros. John David Sullivan has been a member for 13 months. Thank you for supporting the channel. Happy birthday, Mike and Kath. Or Kath and Mike, he says there. Thank you both.
This is for John.
You are very welcome. Thank you very much for helping support the channel. Much appreciated. Dave Inner says, Intel, do people actually use their CPUs? Weird, AMD here only, the only consideration. Yeah, that platform now, I've been running that for probably, it must be getting on for nearly 2 years now. Can't remember when I got it. Maybe a year and a half. Might even be yeah, might be it's heading towards 2 years, I think. And it's been really good. I'll be honest with you, I use the AMD systems here. I've also got my main system, and most of the time I don't really tell much difference. But I do a lot of video editing work. Well, not a lot, but I do I edit a video almost every single day of the week. So it's kind of, yeah, if there was any weaknesses in the system, I would know about them by now. It's been fine. That is the whole Intel AMD thing. The only reason at the moment that Intel are losing the battle is because gaming. For any other thing, production work, music work, all that kind of stuff, Intel is great. It really is. But a lot of people are influenced by what are gaming chips, and a lot of people like to play games. So if I was playing solely computer games, I probably wouldn't stay on the Intel platform, but it's very flexible rounder, and there's some software packages such as Adobe Premiere and also things like DaVinci Resolve and other packages as well, which do like running on Intel. So yeah, it's a difficult thing. I kind of like it. Anyway, enough of me waffling on. Let's start testing some of this stuff. So let's grab our test bench, which I've actually got some RAM on there already, which I do need to test to make sure it works, because I don't think I've tested it already. This actually wasn't, before I go off stream, this was actually another eBay bargain, which I think I paid a little bit more for. I think it's around £24 for some DDR4 3200. I've got four AM4 systems that I've got to kind of finalise and get put together. So I've been looking around for DDR4 RAM, which is getting to be a very nice price. So that is awesome. Now, something else I did forget. I was looking around before I started the stream. I've got somewhere one of those little USB HDMI video capture devices. And the plan was I was going to use that so I could output the display of that straight onto the screen and onto the stream. But I don't know where it is. And I've kind of looked everywhere. It's probably going to be in the bottom of one of these drawers here. It should be in the streaming one, because it is for streaming. I am going to quickly have a look in my streaming box to see if it is definitely not in here, because I'm sure I put it in here. But as with most things, oh god, I got sent that ages ago, Red Key, to do killing hard drives, but it didn't work on AMD. So I said to him, I can't use it. It doesn't work on AMD. All sorts here. My Stream Deck, my Camlink Pro, my Stream Deck Mini, which I got from Skystalker many moons ago. Yet another capture device. And it should be in this thing somewhere. Thing is, because it's a USB device, I'd probably put it somewhere with like other USB devices. I could have swore I put it in here. Aha! Yes, there we go. HDMI video capture, that's what I was looking for. I went through this bag earlier. I must have had a man look. We know about those, don't we, Kath? Yeah. I knew it was in there somewhere.
I'm doing them now.
Yeah. You're going to be doing man looks now. Now you're getting on.
Do you want some cheddars?
No, thank you. You carry on now. It's not the way my trousers hang either. Right, I better take a USB. So actually, do I need one that long? That should be enough, I think. Yeah, that should be enough. And I need a extension USB. I bet I haven't got an extension USB cable now, have I? Is there an extension USB in there? No, that's all HDMI. Right, we might have to wing this a little bit. We'll see what happens. Which side is it? Yeah, there's Mike's unboxing sticker on there. Oh, you bastard. Get back in there. Oh, God. Ow. I'm getting too old for this. What happened? A thing. Why is my thing not streaming? My chat's died. The last thing I've got on here is David Underhill saying about...
maybe Maisie scrolled my mouse. I know.
Sorry about this. Let me just refresh the window. There we go. Oh, wow. That's weird.
You thought I was getting a text channel.
Yeah, I have, yeah. Wow, I missed out loads. Wonder why that stopped. Andy Archer, £30. Thank you, sir. That is massively generous. A little something towards birthday cake for both of you. Thank you very much. I could do with a birthday cake, actually. Don't mind a bit of cake. You probably wouldn't notice that by my svelte figure.
Less chance of getting kidnapped.
It's harder to kidnap me because, well, I'm hard to move. So this, if you have not seen one before, this is an HDMI capture device. So somebody actually messaged me on one of the videos I did recently and said, talking about OBS stuff, and then they said, well, did you know you could get these things? It's like, well, yeah, I've used one before. I think I actually used one of these like really early doors to do some capture stuff. They were awful, to be fair, but they kind of get the job done. So as long as you don't want anything more than like 1080p, 60p, if you're lucky, like 1080p 30 is absolutely fine, but these are okay. So all you do is plug that into a USB port. It can be USB 2.0 because it's very low bandwidth, and then you plug the other end into the graphics card, and it basically takes the graphics card image, rather than putting it out into a monitor, it converts it to a digital signal which your PC can recognize, and you can basically run it through things like OBS, etc, etc. So thank you, Dave Undrill. Mike, you're not overweight, you're under height for your ideal height weight ration. Thank you. Ratio, I think it's supposed to be, but ration works as well. I should have went with the other USB HDMI cable.
Work with the hair, though. I thought you were too tall for your hairline.
I am. I'm too tall for my hairline.
Too short for your weight.
Right. This. I've done a Linus. That's never going to work. So, hopefully, if I figure this out right, I can actually get it so you can see the screen but still see us as well. Not that you probably want to see us, but
You, not us.
yeah. But the cats. I'm a bit worried about my my what's it called now?
Ting.
The chat. It is moving. Viali says, I'm eating a tub of Oreo ice cream. Mmm. Good stuff. I'm breaking my watch. Wouldn't be a surprise. Right, if I plug this into a USB 2 socket, we've got one there. Okay. So, let's see if I add another scene. Let's choose the webcam one. And we'll cancel that. Add a video capture device. We'll call it HDMI USB. And USB video. There we go. And if I then grab, actually put that in there, video capture device, and we'll call it that one there, chuck that in there. And just put that over to the side. So yeah, hopefully that works. So if I click on web, oh, I'm on webcam already, aren't I? Yeah. Excuse me. There we go. So that, I think, is going to work now. So if I start the computer, we'll be able to see that. I'm going to have to spin around so I can see what's going on. So you're kind of going to see the back of my head, but whatever. It doesn't... Oh, shit. I forgot to put that away. I have got too much crap here. I really have. Skystalker says, Roo, we are in the void. Yes, right, yeah. Now a coloured void. Yeah, picture mic. Did that have audio? That's something I didn't think about. Let me see, webcam. Stream mic, yeah. You can still hear me when this is on? Can you still hear me? Let me know in the chat. If this is this a thing? Can you hear me? You can hear me, yeah. Awesome, fantastic. Thank you. Thank you, Matthew. Right, let's go back to main camera, and now we can start. Oh, fuck. I know what I didn't get. Bear with, I've got to go and grab another keyboard and mouse. Shit. Oh. Right, I think I lied, because I think the keyboard and mouse, I did. I prepared. here's one I prepared earlier. The good old Logitech K400 Plus. This thing is a dream. If you can actually find it. So, right. That is going to be for typing. That is going to be for doing computing things. Let's get the test bench up on the deck. So, some of you have seen this already. This is our little test bench system. So this was kindly donated. Actually, I've got to try and remember who donated this now. Someone let me know in the chat who donated the test bench.
O'Reilly.
It was O'Reilly and Andy Archer?
I think so.
Or is it Alan? I think it's Andy Archer, wasn't it? Yeah, Andy Archer and O'Reilly. I think. I'm pretty sure. So this is, yeah, a test bench system. We've got our power supply. I've done a little bit of cable management to this actually, just to try and make it a little bit neater, a bit more portable, so I can move it around. It's got a Ryzen 9 3900X, which is stupid. Was it O'Reilly and Bob? I honestly can't. It might have been O'Reilly and Bob. I can't remember.
O'Reilly, no.
It's definitely O'Reilly. Is one of them, I think.
No, it definitely was O'Reilly.
I'll wait for the. I don't know. So, this is the motherboard from last week. Or was it the week before? I think it was last week. So this is the MSI B450-A Pro, which we know works, so that's a good start. It's all wired in. We've got a BOS bleep speaker as well, which I've attached recently. We've also got the power supply, which I've now cable managed a little bit, so it just stays in place. That's pretty good. And on the back side, I've got other things. So the GPU power plug is kind of just there ready to go whenever I need to plug it in. The SATA drive, I've wiped it, so that's got a fresh installation of Windows 11. O'Reilly and Bob, nice one. Thank you both.
I have to look it up on the video.
SATA drive there. We've got SATA cables, all our extra power supply cables tucked away in there. There's another cable tie there holding some of that stuff in place. But yeah, I've super glued some Velcro onto the bottom here. So if I ever do need any extra power plugs, I've got them all there ready to go at a moment's notice. So yeah, it's all good. I think the super glue is actually wearing off already, but whatever. I probably need to do that a little bit better. I could do one of these like sticky pads there to run it through. I have got some somewhere, but I couldn't find them anyway. So there you go. It's all done and dusted. It works. It powers up, etc. So this is going to be our little test bench. So in order for us to do some testing on our said little test bench, we need to actually get some parts onto it. So first of all, I'm going to plug in the HDMI to nothing because I don't have a graphics card yet. We'll get some power in at the very least.
Thanks to your recommendation.
Ah, cool. Yeah, I think it's a pretty decent little bit of kit, really. And we've got our cable. I've got my on-off switch on this side, which is excellent. That's exactly where I need it. I'm going to plug in the Logitech dongle for the keyboard and the mouse. And I'm going to get rid of that.
We're getting quite good now with the sound effects, aren't we?
Matthew Day says, bring out the GT 1030. Oh, the 1060. Who knows? Which one should we go for? This is the RAM. I've just installed the RAM earlier on. So this is Corsair. Actually, what is it? Corsair. This is Corsair 16 gigs of DDR4 3200. So DDR6 CL16 1.35 volts version 4.3. Actually, I wonder if that's the same as the other one I've got. That would be nice. No, I haven't got other DDR4, have I? No. I was thinking I had enough to make up a 32 gig kit, which would be fantastic. Never mind. So stick that back in there. And yeah, graphics card, which should we go with? Should we go to 1060 to start with? I guess that is probably going to be the better option because our power supply, the power supply is only a 500 watt, which I don't think is quite enough for a 6700. I think it would probably be pushing the power supply pretty much towards the end of its proper kind of well, limits. You don't want to overstress your power supply. You can do, it just means the fan is probably going to go absolutely bananas. So we'll go with the 1060, see how that goes. I've already put some software on this drive, so I've got OCCT, I think, on there. I've got Unigine Heaven and probably Cinebench as well, I think. So there is the ASUS 1060, 6GB. And actually, I haven't looked in the packaging yet. Let's see what's going on. So obviously, yeah, anti-static bag, we know what that's about. Foamy stuff, don't really want that. But they've got this. I don't really know what would be in here, because what would you actually need? So,
Rafa says, is that 1060 old new stock?
I think it's just used. It's just from a random seller. So it comes with a Strix gaming graphics card driver. So it's got an, actually I'll put the disc in front of the camera. It comes with an absolute ton of software on there. Am I in the way? Oh yeah, that's the only light, isn't it? So I'm not sure you can see that, but it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 4 pieces of software on there. So GPU Tweak, ASUS Aurora for the RGB, the ASUS app, and ASUS VGA multi-language. Yeah. You can tell how old it is. Firstly, by the fact that it comes on a CD. I don't think it's even, yeah, is that a CD? It looks like a CD, not a DVD. You'll buy DVD? Intel, ASUS Speed Setup. Don't think we'll be needing that. Anyway, it's nice that they've still got some of the accessories in the box. Probably for the reason that I guess you'd never really need to use any of that stuff. Anyway, so looking at the actually let's put on the overhead camera. So looking at the GPU, it's actually a really nice model. Appears all the fans appear to spin, so that's good. Glenn says would be worth ripping that standalone Aura from that disc. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, ASUS Aura. Yes, I know what you mean. Let me grab a drink a minute. So if I'm right in thinking, the little slits that are here, and everywhere, those are actually RGB. And I got a feeling there might be some on the side, either in the Strix logo or in the Republic of Gamers section there. Just needs a single 8-pin connector, which is nice, rather than a 6-pin. The backplate looks in good condition. It doesn't seem to be ever taken apart. It has the warranty void if removed sticker still attached. So that's something, I suppose. Although it means we probably will have to repaste it, I guess, at some point. It seems to be like a nice, well-built card. So let's stick it in the test bench. I've actually put some thumb screws in the test bench as well to make installing cards a little bit easier. So, yeah, that is in the open position. Clunk into place. And I will put the screws in just to hold it in place. Because the last thing I want is for it to fail. Jason says almost 10-year-old thermal paste is no good. Well, hopefully, if it works, we can have a look what the temperatures are like and see. I'm not sure. Can somebody do me a favour and actually have a look online and tell me what the actual normal kind of maximum running temps are of the 1066 gig? I think it's around ATC, if I remember rightly. But it has been an awfully long time, so I could be completely wrong. I have been before, on numerous occasions.
You've never told me that fact.
And let's plug in some GPU power, because we won't get very far without it.
Glenn says 120 watts can't be much.
Yeah, it's true. Is that all it is, 120 watts? Flipping heck. Let's get some not some RGB, let's get some, what's it called on there? Some Ethernet as well, because it's going to want to install some drivers, hopefully, should we get that far. And we'll turn on the keyboard and mouse. Let's head over to the webcam. And hopefully you can still see me. Yes, you can in the corner. Excellent. So, power supply.
Bang!
Oh, Jesus fuck's sake. Why?
Birthday bang.
I've just had a birthday bang.
From an old banger.
Kath's had her birthday bang. Saves me the job. Oh, dear. I did actually shit a little bit then, I think.
Too much info, Babs.
Right. Actually, I should have put the GT 1030 in there because the RAM is somewhat untested as well, I think.
We got this on. We got a bang screen going.
Let's just see what happens. Oh, we got life, and we got some RGB. There's some coil whine. I think that's from that fan. Yeah, that's from that fan. It's fine. Are we going to get a display? I think we are. We're getting a display. I can live with that. There we go. So hopefully now you can see what I can see.
A rainbow.
Markovsky's in the house. Even all. Hey, Mike's got the test bench out. Nice. How you doing, Mark? We have a display, and it appears to work. And there we go. There's Windows. What resolution is that? I can't tell. Oh, it might be using the Windows.
Oh, sorry, David Underhill.
Thing. Display settings. Ooh. Yeah, that's not good, is it? We want... Is 1080p even going to be an option? Yes.
I've made loads of people shit themselves.
Keep change. Did you? Oh, this isn't very uncomfortable, honestly. Let's make that bigger. Oh, now I've put my flipping head in the way. Right, let me move my my head.
That's a nice little gap there, just right for you, isn't it? In the bottom right, left.
Let's make myself a bit smaller.
You could do it the same size there, though, couldn't you?
Oh yeah, just over there.
Yeah.
Good idea. There we go.
There we go.
Awesome. Right, so
Wayne's World, Wayne's World.
resolution, advanced display. Oh, I want the other input device now. Advanced display. 60 hertz. Fine. That'll do me. That'll ding dang do for me. Right, so let's see what is cooking in device manager. I'm pretty sure it's picked up, to be fair. Device manager. Display adapter.
Oh, Nick Bourne says that don't work. His text box is on the left.
Oh, sorry. Yep, that looks like it's working. Okay, so it's installed the driver. So let's just go straight in with a Unigine Heaven. And I think if I remember rightly, I need to mute this.
David Underhill has to go in those high shorts. Sorry.
I've just muted the PC there, so we'll just run it and see what happens. Doesn't seem to be doing anything bad. I'm not sure if you can see this. Can you see all the illumination appears to be working? The fans aren't. I don't know whether that's a good... Oh, the fans are. That's excellent. I'm not sure if I had that around the right way.
Try some superposition with this 1060 for a laugh. Is that image of Bristol Pier?
Could be. Let's run the benchmark. Right, we'll run the benchmark through just to see if it does actually work as intended. I think it's probably going to be fine, but you never can tell. Is it showing temperatures? I can't see that from there, Christ. 72C at the moment. which sounds okay. Graphics clock is 25 megahertz. I'm not sure what the memory clock is meant to be on here. I honestly have no idea about this card. It's been a long time since I've looked at a 1060. Kath's still rocking the 1066 gig from William Bodie in her PC. She's been using it for 4 years now. No, from Welly Bob, sorry. Was Welly Bob was the processor, wasn't it? Yeah. Memory 4104. Google says it should be 50 to 80 degrees C under load. Okay. Ashley Strachan's here. Says, sorry I was having a barbecue. What graphics card is this? Also, hey everybody. Ashley Strachan, this is a GTX 1060 6 gig. This is the ASUS Strix Republica Gamers Edition with RGB lighting. And it's actually RGB lighting rather than being addressable, which is, I'm not sure whether that's a blessing or not. Maybe it is. Now the theory is I'm going to put this graphics card possibly with the MSI B450 Mortar, which we've got over there. So we need to get a processor which is suitable for this. So I think probably like a 3700 or maybe a 5600 might be a nice pairing with that for a nice little kind of cost-effective gaming PC, which I could probably sell. I think like the graphics card, say, what was that, 55 quid. Processor, if I can get for about 50, that's 100. Case 30, power supply 30, RAM 30, motherboard about 40. So you should be able to do it for about a couple of £100, I reckon. But we'll see.
What is the latest and greatest GPU stress tester?
The latest and greatest GPU stress tester is probably, I honestly don't know really. I very rarely, if anything, I'll use in-game benchmarks or something which is easy to download. So like Unigine Heaven's only like about 500 megabytes or something stupid. It isn't a particularly like strenuous test for a graphics card, but it seems to be doing the job, and I think it kind of looks quite nice. It's a little bit of a meme nowadays, isn't it? Especially with like Jay's 2 cents and all that stuff. You've got Furmark. That is quite brutal. That's more of a virus, like a GPU virus for just really just knocking it on its head. Yeah, Furmark can be dangerous sometimes as well. So if you're on a card which is maybe possibly a little bit kind of on the edge of not being great, it could basically kill the card. So you probably don't want to run Furmark on something which is either A, valuable, or B, slightly unknown. Like, run it after if you've gone through all the other stress tests, like Unigine Heaven, superposition, things like obviously Time Spy, that sort of stuff. You can run all that on there, and then if it passes all those and it's happy, then maybe run Furmark just to give it that extra kind of bang on the head. Steel Nomads among the first to crash when you overdo it. I quite like Steel Nomad. That's quite a nice one to do. Trouble is though, downloading 3D Mark is like you download 3D Mark, then it's like you got to do all the little plugins and stuff, and it's just like, oh god, it takes so long. But yeah, 3D Mark's probably a good one.
Yeah, said one.
Seems to be going.
Monster Hunter Wilds.
Monster Hunter Wilds. Yeah, that's probably a good one to do. A lot of the in-game benchmark type things can be quite good. Like obviously the Cyberpunk one's probably quite good to some extent, but it's not going to stress every area. It's more of a kind of RTX test or a bandwidth test. Yeah, Weird Accent says Cyberpunk 2077 with RT is probably the most demanding thing a GPU will ever see. Glenn says superposition is great, super consistent. I'm not sure if I've ever run superposition. I guess I have. I might have to do that. Maybe we would try that if it passes this. Oh, it has. There we go. So what do we get? 3,512 points, which I think that is probably okay. Well, what's the temperatures at? 71C currently. So that's actually not too bad. 71 degrees, 70, 71. It seems to be kind of blipping between it. And it isn't actually horrendously loud, like kind of like right near it. I've got the world's worst CPU fan. And the power supply is, I think the power supply is actually noisier. Yeah, it doesn't feel particularly, yeah, it doesn't feel bad. And it's only a dual slot card as well, so it's nice and good, nice and light. So if you are using it in like a micro ATX chassis, you don't have that extra overhang to worry about for like kind of starving the air in the bottom. Yeah, I think that's worked out okay. So what do we get? 140 frames per second, give or take. Minimum FPS is 48.5, so that's quite good. The minimum FPS sometimes on some GPUs like goes down to like 9 FPS or like 2 FPS. I never quite understand why it does that. Yeah, it seems to be doing all right. Happy days. So I'm pretty pleased with that. I would argue it works. I think that is a pretty fair thing to say. So we know that works. So let's stop that. Where's the mouse? Close. There is a little bit of coil whine, but I'm sure that's from the fan. Yeah, it might even be the power supply actually. That power supply is shit.
Great bang for buck there. Not for David Underhill's pants.
No. Poor old David Underhill's pants. Alright, let's let that cool down a minute before I start taking it out of the PC. What I might do, I'll turn it off, and I guess next we can probably test some RAM to make sure the other RAM works. Oh, actually, I could quickly stick on OCCT on the RAM just to make sure that that is okay. It seems to be okay, and I think it's probably, I guess it's, oh, I'm looking at the wrong screen again. I think it's probably running the right XMP. Where are we? Come on, 8 times today. Just about to see that. I can see the tab, I can't see what's running that. So yeah, XMP 3200, 1600 megahertz. Corsair, it's running Samsung chips. That seems all good. Happy days. Right, let's turn this off. Oh, go on, Dutch Jan.
Why does it only say 4 gig in heaven for GPU?
It's a thing with Unigine Heaven. It only ever registers 4 gig for some reason at the end on that test. I think it's possibly an old thing of the over 4G decoding on motherboards. I don't think it uses more than 4 gigs anyway to do the test. I could be wrong. We'll see. I'm looking on the wrong screen. Let's turn that off. And I suppose I better shut that down. And we'll do a restart. And I'm going to go in and turn off XMP now. So we can take the RAM out, then put in a new set of RAM, and then we can turn on XMP again after. Because otherwise, if you set it to XMP with one memory stick, and then you swap out the RAM, it's not really fair to expect the motherboard to say, oh yeah, there's a new XMP profile I need to read and apply. It's unlikely it's going to do that, so we'll see. Right, so let's turn off XMP. And we will save an... What's... Oh, I didn't see what year the BIOS was. Never mind. So let it boot into Windows now, and then we'll shut it down again. Jason says that poor 3900X with that cooler. I bid on a 3600 today, and it was really weird. It was up for £32 plus postage, which is about £2.50. And it was like also accepting offers. So I thought, well, let's try an offer. Let's try a cheeky 25 quid. You never know. That got rejected. So I thought I'll try 29. That got rejected. So I tried 30. That got rejected. And you can only do 3 offers. So the buy it now button was still optional. So I clicked on buy it now for £31.98 plus £2.45 postage. And during the checkout, which took me a little longer than expected because I was trying to find my phone so I could do the two-factor authentication. And by the time I found my phone, the seller had basically cancelled or stopped the listing. It's like, why? I'm just literally about to check out and it's gone. So yeah, I was looking for a 3600 would have been great for a little CPU just for testing. And probably would have gone nice on air actually, to be fair. What was saying? Markovsky said the BIOS said 1766. That's old. I feel that old. Right, let's turn this back off again now. And let's shut down. And then we'll take this. Was that you, Maisie? But look, we'll shut down the PC and we'll try the other set of Corsair RAM. So that is now off.
Does that mean it's great?
I thought that, yeah.
You okay?
Put that there. So we'll try this stuff. This I guess I could have probably left the XMP on there. I haven't actually inspected these at all, so it doesn't appear to be any obvious marks or signs or of any damage on there. So let's just go ahead and stick them in and see what happens. One stick. I do like Corsair Vengeance LPX RAM DDR4. It's very cool. It's been around a long time now, so
Lick it, Mike.
I should have licked it. If it doesn't boot, I will. So here we go. Say a prayer.
Ah, somebody outside.
Ah, that'd be Dave and Otis.
Who's that?
Is it Dave and Otis? Cats fighting in the garden.
Can't see anyone.
Ooh. It's got a boot LED. Right, what does that say? CPU memory. Oh yeah, F1. Oh, function F1 maybe. Okay. I was worried then. So let's turn on XMP. Profile 1. What are the 2 profiles on there? Oh, they're both the same anyway. That is a strange error for changing RAM. I think I got it set in the BIOS so that if you do change RAM or it detects differences, it pops up. You can choose on the MSI boards whether or not it does that or not. So that should be okay. So yeah, XMP disabled to profile 1. So we'll let it do that. Imagine being it that simple on DDR5. You'd have to go in, turn on, enable memory power down, enable whatever it is. I can't even think what the other one is now. There's a couple of things you've got to do on DDR5, isn't there? It's been a while. No worries, Skystalker, you're very welcome. Phil Stodd says, hello everyone, just finished participating in Doug Bett's live stream. Yes, actually I should mention that. Most of you probably know of Kerry Holzman, the legend. He's been doing some live streams recently where he's been doing some kind of interaction with other YouTubers. Now, we've actually been invited on to the show, but the time differences are a little bit of a pain in the backside, so we'll see what happens there. But he's been having Doug Betts on, which Doug Betts is a proper old school PC tech, very knowledgeable, lots and lots of experience, and some interesting takes on how to do things, which is always good. And also Ask Your Computer Guy has been on there as well, which some of you may be aware of that channel or not. If you're not, I would strongly suggest you check them out. Any of them, you'll probably enjoy the content. So you've got Ask Your Computer Guy, Doug Betts, and also obviously Kerry Holzman as well. Feel free to check out any of them. Rasher says, today is National Grey-Haired Grumpy Old Man Day and I expect recognition. We salute you, sir. Carry on being grumpy. Oh, that's what I was doing when I was over here. Right, anyway, it booted up. So with very little fuss, it has gone ahead and booted up. So let's go into, I think I've got it on here. OCCT. I could have swore I had OCCT on there. Where would it be hiding if it was? I guess it's going to be under O for OCCT. No. Is it in my downloads then, maybe? I could have swore I had that on there. Downloads. No, nothing there. Okay.
It's a tiny download.
It must be because it don't even appear. Right, let's fire up the old Brave. OCCT. Oh, there's too many mice on the screen. That's done my head in. Is that the right one? Yeah, that looks like it. See, this doesn't look right. Oh, there are download. That's what we want. Oh God. Ah, there we go. Personal use, yeah. I'm just using it to test my RAM. And there's CCCT-EX. Where is that in downloads then? Go on, I'll replace it. Why did that not install? Man, that fan is driving me slightly doolally. There. If you stop the fan, it's fine. You don't hear it at all. Let's go yes. I don't often use this at all. In fact, I don't really know how it works. But I'm assuming there is a memory test. Yeah, there is a memory. Yes, that is what I did earlier. Okay. Oh, I bet I'm right in the way, aren't I? Let's move me over. And we'll do start. I feel like I'm using the dual guns in CSGO. Using 2 keyboards and mice at the same time. Supporters today. Enjoying OCCT? Yeah, I might buy it. Not today though. So, okay, we'll leave the memory test running for a little bit and see how it goes. And that will be in, yeah, we'll let that run. I think it's got to run for an hour, hasn't it? I'm not going to let it run for an hour. I'm just going to let it do its thing and we'll see what happens for a bit. Let's make sure there's no obvious memory errors. Yeah, let it do its thing for a bit. And that way I can talk to some of you lot. Let's put it onto the main camera for a bit so you can go full screen. And let's see what's going on in the chat. And then we'll see how that goes. I'm not going to leave it running for too long. Just click start. Default is fine, says Skystalker. Okay. I think Dave Aiken mentioned it to me ages ago about OCCT, and he says he uses it on all of his systems, but I've very rarely used it. But I did a search earlier on, either yesterday or today, of how to test RAM, and it came up with OCCT. I thought, oh yeah, that's a good idea. I haven't tried that. Rasher, wife says, honey, the vacuum isn't sucking. Husband, frustrating, isn't it? Ba-boom. Hey Darren, hi from Trinidad. Where is Trinidad? My geography is rubbish. Is that in the...
I love the accent.
Trinidad. Is that Jamaica?
I think it is, but I don't know. I'm rubbish at geography because we went to the same school.
I have no idea.
I do love the accent.
North of Venezuela. North of Venezuela. Small island, says Arnold G. Okay. Next to Tobago. Yeah, because Trinidad and Tobago are one of the teams, aren't they? Football teams.
I don't know about that, but I've heard them pair together.
Sinister Chef says I was thinking about buying it as well. Thought the full version of 3D Mark as well. I bought 3D Mark. 3D Mark, I think, was one of the more sensible things to buy, especially when it's on sale on Steam. You can get it for like £6 or something stupid, which is brilliant. And I think I bought an add-on, which was the full SSD NVMe test, I think, or was it the CPU test? One of them was an optional extra, which you had to pay for, which I bought that, and I was for the amount of benchmarking I do, it was a bit of a pointless thing, but it was like, it's cheap, I'll buy it. I'm a sucker for that, hence why I've got this graphics card, which actually has zero fan technology, I've just noticed as well. So that's pretty nice, and actually I think the illumination is pretty cool on that as well. Would you agree? It's quite subtle. And I think if I can lift this up, you can just about see. Got some RGB on the side there. Again, very subtle. Quite nice. And you probably notice there's a little bit of RGB in the power supply as well. I need to replace that power supply, something rotten. But it's kind of nice to have it because it's one that I know I can just trash and it doesn't really make much difference. We'll see. Skystalker says, fantastic 1060 card, likely the best.
I have a snap. I don't very often get them.
Oh dear. Yeah, it's a nice looking card. It's a shame that, like, the 10 series, maybe the 9 series, or the 9, yeah. The 9 series and the 10 series, I would say, from NVIDIA, were probably the high point of the last, God knows how long. Probably better than some of the stuff we saw in the very, very late 90s, early 2000s. The 10 series was brilliant, and they all performed like really, really well for the money. Like, you think when the 1066 gig come out, what was it price wise? Like 300 quid, something like that, if not less. The 1070 was amazing. Obviously, if you had the money, the 1080 Ti. Those were the dog's Watsits, but back then you didn't need it. You could quite happily get away with like a 1050 Ti or even the 3 gig version of the 1060 and still play games like at really high frame rates and them look really nice. But somewhere along the way, it's all gone a little bit wrong. I don't understand why. Ah, got a broken nail.
Broken tooth next.
What's a skag nail, something?
You were growing that one as well, weren't you?
Yeah. Viali says, I got the advanced version of 3D Mark for free. Awesome. Yeah, 1080 Ti is still competitive now. Definitely. Markovsky says greed. Yeah, I think that is pretty much what it comes. I think there's definitely the problem isn't just greed. The problem was something that we wanted to see happened, and it basically ruined the market. And that was the amalgamation or the usage of desktop PC components in consoles. Because it meant then that developers could get really lazy and they could develop a game for a console, but then develop it for a PC, but just take the piss out of the RAM. Because like on a console, you have your constraints. That is what it is. You can't do a lot about it. Whereas with a PC, the developers know that there's going to be people who have got like a 2 gig card, a 3 gig card, 4 gig, 6 gig, 8, 10, 11, 12, 16, 24, whatever it is. So they can really take the piss when it comes to setting it up. When AMD got the deal to do the PlayStation and the Xbox, I think that was pretty much the downturn of the graphics market. Because I'm pretty sure it was around about the same time as the 900 series came out. At which point the 10 series would have already been developed and almost ready for production. So I guess it's around that sort of time. But now, since all the consoles are basically running AMD, other than a very few which are using NVIDIA, it's just a mess. So yeah, they're using the VRAM unnecessarily when previously they would have had to have written the code much cleaner and much better, more optimized to run on lesser hardware. And then gets to the point of like, well, if we're adding more RAM, we can charge more. And if we can charge more for RAM, we can charge more for features. And it just escalated. Muckless says, Mike, just upgraded from my 6950 XT to a 4080 16 gig. That's a pretty nice jump. Although, I would guess in some games you're not seeing huge differences. The 6950 XT was the GOAT. It really was. That was a great card. A little bit on the hot side, but depending on which model you got, yeah, they were great. The 4080 is going to use, well, it's going to run cooler. Probably using a similar sort of power, I guess. Actually, no, it's not, is it? No, it's quite a lot less. Dutch Jan says, just like Apple. Yeah. Mara says, I had a 2060 Super, never used RT. To be honest with you, I very, very rarely use ray tracing. If a game loads up and the settings that I choose just so happen to have ray tracing on, then yeah, it is what it is. The Half-Life RTX, which came out recently, obviously I used ray tracing in that. But generally, most games I turn it off. Like Fortnite, you'd be an absolute mug to run Fortnite with ray tracing on. Like it's the stupidest thing you can possibly do, because you just want high frame rates in Fortnite. You want it to be fast, slick. You want to turn off as much of the eye candy as you possibly can, because it isn't like an adventure game. It is a third-person shooter. So you want those twitchy, quick loads on everything. I still don't understand. Well, I know because Fortnite's obviously running on the Unreal Engine, so it makes sense that they would put ray tracing into it. But it just seems like such a pointless thing to do. Never quite understood the reasoning behind that. There obviously is, because it's a thing. But yeah, Epic being Epic. Mark Barry says, I'm still using a 1070 as long as the updates keep coming. I do think possibly the 10 series might stop getting updates sooner rather than later. Potentially this year. I would hope to see it stretch out until next year. Nice to see another year from now. But yeah. The Gentleman Bad Boy says, please don't say you play Fortnite, Mike. I have played Fortnite. I refuse to do the building stuff though. I am definitely a no build person. I like it as a shooter, like a third person shooter. I don't like the whole building stuff. In fact, it wasn't until they did the no build that I actually started using it. Otherwise, I would always play it like briefly, and people would be building stuff, and it's like, well, I ain't doing none of that, so whatever. But yeah, my current games of choice are Counter-Strike 2. I do love playing that. That is a great game. Counter-Strike has been, I think, one of those kind of linchpins of the entire PC gaming community. Kind of like, it was there in 99 or 98, whenever it was. Obviously Half-Life preceded it, Half-Life 2, etc. But yeah, Counter-Strike's just one of those games that just keeps on going. And it's still as challenging now as it ever has been. And to be good at CSGO, sorry, CS2, or in CSGO, you have to be good. You have to have quick reflexes. It is skill-based. Now, yeah, I know there's like cheaters and bots and stuff which go in to try and ruin it, but on a individual level, if you're all playing with the same spec PC, skill will always do better. And even if you've got a Ninja PC, if someone's really good at the game and they're on a crap old PC, they will still nail you because of skill. And that, I think, is how games should be. It shouldn't be a fact of like, I've got the best GPU or CPU, so I'm going to be better at this game. And luckily, CS2, that isn't the case. It is purely skill.
Is there anything breakable in that box? Because I think Notice was going to jump up.
I don't think so. There it is. Yeah, so CS2, Fortnite, Wreckfest. Not got around to getting Wreckfest 2 yet. I think I might get that. That looks quite interesting. What else was there game-wise? Oh, Robocop Rogue City. Been playing that actually. I've literally just finished playing the first round, and I'm now doing the new game plus on that. I actually quite enjoyed that, Robocop Rogue City. I thought that was a really good title. It was a little bit buggy when it came out, but yeah, if you're into Robocop, or if you're a certain age, like if Robocop came out when you were a teenager or in your 20s or something, you liked Robocop as a movie, then yeah, Robocop Rogue City is yeah, it's very enjoyable, I think, personally. And the game mechanic's pretty good as well. So yeah, I've been playing that as well. That's probably about it recently. Maybe a little bit of some of the older Batman titles. They're still very enjoyable, some of those. But yeah, that's about it for my gaming at the moment. A lot of the modern games, I don't really see the appeal. I'm looking forward to Far Cry 7. We've waited way too long for another Far Cry, and it looks like Far Cry 7 might be based in the Wild West, which is quite an interesting theory, if there's any truth to that. I'm not sure if I'd like that. Some other people said it might be based in Europe, or even England, which would be, again, quite bizarre. But there's lots of different thoughts and theories on where Far Cry 7 is going to go. Let me know in the chat. Are you a Far Cry fan? I actually loved Far Cry 3. Far Cry 3 was awesome. Far Cry 4 was actually good as well. Pagan Min. I thought Pagan Min was excellent. Is it protagonist? I don't know, whatever the word is. The bad guy. Yeah, Pagan Min was really good. Vass in Far Cry 3 was excellent, which he was also the actor who played, oh god, what was his name in Breaking Bad? Can't think what his name is now. He's in Breaking Bad and also Better Call Saul. Yeah. Can't think of his name. But yeah, he was in there. Excellent stuff. Oh, and of course, yeah, Half-Life 3 is apparently in testing. But Half-Life 3 we've been waiting for now since 2004, 2005? So 20 years later? Who knows? Skystalker says, my last two cards have been AMD 7900 GRE and 9070 XT. The card before that was an ARC 770. Apparently I've been avoiding NVIDIA lately. I actually would quite like to get a 9070, the XT, but I'm not paying the overinflated prices. I refuse to do it. Jason says, the game's been developing for my entire lifetime. I know. Yeah, Black Mesa as well, says Rick H. Yeah, Black Mesa is excellent. Half-Life 3, I think, is going to be... If Half-Life 3 is as good as the jump to Half-Life 2, then it's going to be amazing. But those are pretty big shoes to follow. I actually quite like the Half-Life RTX. Replaying it with the kind of the modern graphics did make a nice difference. I liked it. It was alright. What other games have I played recently? I don't think I've played any other games. I'm trying to think. I'll have to look on my Steam list, but... oh, Dead Island 2. Do like that, Dead Island. Those were good. I do like a bit of a zombie hacker slasher. They're quite good. Right, let's see how the PC's getting on. And currently, oh, it's been running for 15 minutes, no errors. And it's done 380 cycles. Yeah, I think that is fine. I think we can call that a win. So we will stop that there if I use the right mouse. I'm using my Dualies again. Stop. Excellent. So I think we can argue that that RAM is probably okay. So let's do the XMP thing again. Oh, I've put myself in this awkward predicament. Oh, come on. Right, where's my mouse there? Trying to work out where to put myself that I'm not going to be causing a kerfuffle. Oh, that's the wrong mouse. Right, restarts, and we'll go into the boss and turn off XMP again. Sky says the 9070 XT is a fantastic card, got it on launch day, so it actually got a good price. Wouldn't buy one now until prices come down. Yeah, I did like the idea of the 9070. David Thompson says Quake 1 on a 3DFX card was amazing. Oh yeah. I miss 3DFX. Right, let's turn off XMP. And we will repeat the process once more.
Drink those?
No, I'm right, thank you. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. We need to ban Jason PM from chat. He's just asked what's 3DFX. 3DFX is basically NVIDIA bought 3DFX to enable SLI technology, which was scan leave interface, basically running two graphics cards at the same time and sharing the load, so to speak. 3DFX was a revolutionary graphics card back in the early days, probably around about 96, I want to say, maybe 97, definitely before 2000s. Made by Voodoo Incorporated. So the first card was the add-on card. So the Voodoo card was added in as like an additional card. So you'd have your traditional 2D stroke 3D graphics card from someone like ATI or S3 Trio, Trident, etc, etc. So you had your standard display adapter. Then you could put in your 3DFX Voodoo card as a separate PCI card. There was then a VGA cable which went from your regular card into the 3DFX card, and your monitor plugged into the 3DFX's secondary connector. So literally what happened was your graphics card would pass through the information and the 3DFX card would kind of bolt on the 3D geometry and do all of the kind of like the hard work of 3D graphics. And at the time it was absolutely revolutionary. It made games so much faster, so much more enjoyable, better textures. It was a very, very massive leap in technology for 3D gaming. It really was. Then they developed the Voodoo 2, which was basically an enhanced version with more memory. And then they went over and decided that they didn't want other companies to make Voodoo cards. So they went in-house for the Voodoo 3. This is when it all went tits up. So it got to that point, a lot of companies stopped supporting it. And of course, NVIDIA and also ATI at the time saw that and thought, right, okay, here's a gap. So that is when the Geforce 256 was, I think, probably one of the first cards which kind of took away a massive amount of market share from the Voodoo company, or 3DFX. And it was a real shame. Yeah, the Voodoo Banshee. I had one of those. I don't think I had a Voodoo 1. I definitely had a Voodoo 2. I had two Voodoo 2s in the same PC. So I had SLI. That was awesome. I had a Voodoo 3 Banshee, or Voodoo Banshee, and I think that was about it. But yeah, good times. Yeah, Nvidia read the room, definitely. Roderick says, the 3DFX Voodoo 2, Unreal, blew me away with that game. Yeah. The first time, like, the original Unreal, not Unreal Tournament, but the original Unreal, actually came free with a lot of Voodoo cards. I think it was the Voodoo 2. Pretty sure it came out with the Voodoo 2 card. And yeah, just loading it up for the first time, it was like, wow. The graphics were absolutely insane. And in fact, at the time, the Voodoo 2, if I remember rightly, especially with games like Unreal, the graphics were actually better than what you'd get inside of an arcade. And it was a complete paradigm shift. Because we were used to games like Outrun and Hang On and Time Crisis and stuff like that, which were good. But yeah, the Voodoo 2 card just was another level altogether. Good times. Right, let's shut this down. And now we can try another lot of RAM. Let's go back to the main camera. So we know these work. So we can leave the seller some feedback. And I've only got one set to now. This is the set that we got from Alan. These are brand new from CCL. So you'd think they would work straight off the bat, but you know what I say, never say never. Come on. Kath, is this the way you envisage spending your birthday, listening to me talking about graphics cards?
Yeah.
Poor Kath.
Well, I hope to see you sending messages in chat.
Did he? Yeah.
Viali says ATI Rage cards were great, had a few of them. Yeah, I think I had the Rage 128. No, the Rage, was it the Rage Fury Max, which was 2 graphics cards put onto one board, which was a kind of like almost trying to copy what Voodoo were doing. Yeah, I'm sure it was. Yeah, the Rage Fury Max with 2 X's, and it had 2 Rage like 128 Pros or something on the same card, and it was awful. Trying to install the drivers on some systems was absolutely horrendous.
David Thompson says 2 sweeteners, no milk from mine to me, but Angel's making it, not me.
Yeah, Angel's making it, sorry. Right, so those work. Let's put it on the working pile over there.
She's been an absolute dream today, hasn't she, Angel?
She has been very good.
Me?
Yeah. Really?
Really?
I mean, I didn't actually know who you were talking about me. I just thought it sounded like Angel, but I didn't know what you said.
David Earl says 3DFX gained initial fame in the arcade market. The first arcade machine that 3DFX video graphics feature was using a game featuring a back controller called Ice Home Run Derby. There you go. Yeah, Rasha says the concept that buyers have to supply the media to store the games these days and the prices they charge is horrendous. Yeah, is it like the Switch 2 is going to be like $70 a game or something? Ooh, those feel nice. So these are from... Dropped it again. Zero Defects, Alan. Thank you very much for the Fury Beasts. Let's hope they work. These are actually quite low profile as well. I didn't want to go in there. Brand spanking new memory. Lovely. Okay. Let's see what happens. Go to our webcam screen and we'll hit the delete button. I think it's going to probably go into the BIOS anyway because it was just stuck me ramming. If it decides to boot, that is. That looks like the VGA light. And there we go. So function F1, bada bing. And DDR speed is 2400, so we turn on the XMP. Actually, let's have a look, see what the XMP options are. I think they're going to be both the same. Yeah, they're both the same. Excellent stuff.
Wonderful.
You're not allowed to say that.
Oh, she sent a picture of herself with chocolate all around her mouth, so I sent her a baby picture of her after eating a bourbon. You haven't changed much.
Night, Ange.
Love you too.
Hydro says, my stepdad got my 2 Voodoo 2s from work. What a lad. Yeah, Voodoo 2s were awesome. There was somebody I knew who worked in an electronics store in the UK called Electronics Boutique, which they had high street stores, but they also had concessions inside of other supermarkets. Oh, sorry, other stores. So it was in, is it C&A? What was the big one?
Debenhams?
Might have been Debenhams. Yeah,
Escalator.
yeah, Debenhams in somewhere where we knew. I was trying not to give that away, but anyway, Electronics Boutique. We kind of knew someone who worked in there, so he did us a very, very nice discount on the Voodoo 2 when it came out. I bought the Creative Labs Voodoo 2. I think it was. They were supposed to be $149.99. And I'm sure we got it for a significant discount, like much, much cheaper. And I think at the same time I bought a set of speakers, because didn't we buy the second set then?
No.
No. Must have been, oh yeah, because I bought the Creative 4-point surround speakers, which we bought previous to that. They were in the same sort of box. They were same price, $49.99. I've actually still got those on either my desk or Kath's. We've both got the same speakers, the Creative Labs 4-point surround. I think I might have the original ones. And yeah, I've had those speakers now for, it must be 20 years.
Well, more than that, because it's before I was pregnant with George. Or when I was pregnant with George.
Yeah, 25 years I've had those speakers. 27 years I've had
Didn't have him a year before.
27 years for a set of PC speakers. That is phenomenal. And they still sound great.
Math,
yeah,
as you
do
say.
the math, Mike. Right, where is...
So George was a year old by the time I was pregnant with him.
So does OCCT not install itself? Does it just run as EXE? Is that where I'm going wrong here? I thought it installed, but maybe it doesn't then. Oh, come on. And that's pretty cool. So if it doesn't install, I could put it on a USB drive and use it portably. Ah, right, OCCT is standalone, says Sky. Excellent. Yeah, Ashley Strachan says, did you see the Linus video on the unreleased Voodoo 4 that someone got an internal build of and rebuilt and completed the board? Yes, I did, yeah. I miss 3DFX from the market, totally, because they were, well, I'll always have a soft spot for them, definitely. Playing Unreal Tournament and Unreal with the 3DFX was just like, it was just an amazing experience.
You have to put the EXE on the desktop.
Ah. I think I might need to do that, yeah. Right, let's run the start. Oh, here we go. Support us.
David Thompson's still got powered speakers from 95, £13.
All right.
Still working fine on my daily driver.
Yeah. Matrox as well. Yeah, that's another brand which... Matrox was a weird one, because... or Matrox, however they're known. Matrox made some really good cards, like the Matrox Millennium, Matrox Mystique, I think there was. But then they started going down the kind of the twin head route. So this is when, like back in the day, basically no one had more than one monitor. You were lucky if you had one monitor, and you were lucky if you had enough room on your desk for more than one monitor, because they were huge, like big CRTs. But yeah, Matrox, for some bizarre reason, started to go into the multiple monitor route with like custom outputs on them, and it was really weird. Then they were doing really well in like the GPU market, and they were like a competitor. But yeah, they decided just to kind of get out of it altogether and just concentrated on multiple outputs on a monitor, and then went into, I think they went into receivership at some point, or someone bought the brand, and they kind of, I think they still make graphics cards now, but like really, really like industry specific ones. Very odd. Arnold G says, yes, still somewhat around. Yeah,
My stalker said, I create a directory for OCCT and stick the exe in it. Then shortcut to desktop. It creates a config file in the folder. Sorry, you were saying
got you.
that.
That's cool. Markovsky says, I had an Atari ST and took it on stage using the built-in MIDI interface to control lighting. Awesome.
I miss my ST.
I do. The Atari ST was a great computer. I do like a lot of the retro stuff, but the prices it goes for these days is just absolutely incredible.
That's another thing you've got me to take to the tip.
What, the ST?
Yeah.
Do we throw that away?
Yeah.
Honestly?
Yeah. When we moved house.
One of my bigger regrets, I think, of getting rid of was I had a Vectrex. If you've not seen a Vectrex, Vectrex was like a very, very unique game system. I don't want to say console because it wasn't really a console, but I guess it kind of was. Yeah, basically you had a TV in portrait mode with its own little cabinet, and then you had like an arcade joystick which kind of went into the bottom and flipped in. So it was about kind of that tall, I guess.
I don't know if it was even that big.
Maybe about that. Tiny screen, about that wide. And you had these little, it was only monochrome, but you had these like plastic overlays which you put over the screen for specific games to add colour in certain areas. And it was based on vectors, which at the time, like no one used vectors for graphics other than games like Star Wars, which the classic Star Wars where you go down and you bomb the Death Star.
What happened to it? Because you had one as
I'm sure I sold it.
But we bought one, didn't we?
Yeah, I'm sure I sold it on Facebook.
Facebook, I don't think so. You would have had that in
Or it would
2000.
either trade it might have been Trade It.
When did we join Facebook again?
I think it was Trade It actually, or did I buy it on Trade It? I think I bought it on Trade It.
We didn't join Facebook again, did we? We came off it for years.
But yeah, the Vectrex was awesome. Ashley says, oh my god, I'd kill for a Vectrex. They go for serious cash these days, yeah. I'm sure the first one I bought was like £30. And it had about 6 or 7 games with it. And I don't think there was that many games out for it.
I don't remember the colour things to go on screen.
Well, it's very rarely you had the colour things that went on the screen because most people lost them.
So
Or they got broken.
That second one.
No, the second one we didn't have them.
I've never heard of that. Or
There was Spike, when there was the game Spike, which had synthesized speech back in the day. Spike! Help! Molly! Spike was a dog or a cat.
I don't know if I play. I don't really remember playing on it much.
We didn't.
Big boxy joysticks.
Yeah,
Isn't it?
had a joystick with like a little with 4 buttons on there as well. It was great. I loved it. John David Sullivan says, just installing Windows on my 285K build now. Nice.
Dutch Jan's put a link to an eBay thing.
Oh, it said, look, Mike. I looked on the screen. Dutch Jan.
So above that, look, Mike.
Where's the mouse? There we go. Oh yes, Vectrex Space Wars. I don't know what those. Oh God, what did that say in German? It's giving me instructions in German.
Can't you do highlight it and translate?
That's right. I'm done now. How much is that going for? €85 for Space Wars, just the game. Jeez. Wow. Vectrex boxed insert cartridge manual overlay working. €70 for the games. Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back. Oh, that's Nintendo. That was a Vectrex. Yeah, Vectrex Spike boxed insert cartridge manual overlay working. €70. Oh man. Yeah, I wish that I'd have kept a lot of the games, systems and consoles that I had from back in the day. But it's just having the room, innit? You know, it's like life carries on, and you you don't always have room to keep all that kind of stuff. But thank you for that, Dutch Jan. Very good. Domman2000 says, yeah, I had a Vectrex in the days. Now I just keep it with emulation. I think you're probably better off with emulation because the Vectrex they all had the same thing. There was like an earth fault with them, and no matter what volume level you had or what you did to try and fix it, there was always this like static feedbacky kind of sound, and it was not great. I think it was the audio chip or the audio amplifier just wasn't grounded or something. The modern modding scene has got like all the fixes for it, so it can be like absolutely amazing. But yeah, back then they always had that kind of noise to them all the time, which is awful. Right, that seems to be going. Yeah, no errors detector. It's done 170 cycles. That's fine. I think we can call that a win. Let's try the 6700 XT and see if that actually works, because that is the one which actually cost me the most money. In fact, the 6700 XT cost me £200, or 208 to be exact. So I think that has cost me more than all of the rest of the stuff I've got on the table put together. Yeah. 30 and 40 for the motherboard, so that's 70. 50, 120. Yeah, it's close. It's very close. If I'd have paid for the RAM, it would be the same. Yeah, all those regrets. Yeah, selling off stuff is it's hard to do, but it is a necessity a lot of the time, isn't it? So thank you very much to Alan. There's much appreciated. Oh, come on. Look at the screen tearing because of the 30 FPS. Or 60 FPS or whatever it is. It's not particularly happy, is it? I'm now about to make it extremely unhappy by putting a graphics card which needs considerably more juice than is available to it. Whatever. I should change out the power supply really. But I'll just run it gently. just to save any kerfuffles. I do like the fact that it shows those colour bands actually on the screen when the display's not active. Because at least you know it's actually working. Elgato could learn a lot from that. Because with Elgato stuff, if it's not getting a signal, it's just blank. Which is a real pain. Now it's good because in a professional instance, you can just have a blank screen because it looks quite professional. But at the same time, for the kind of the user itself, it's a little bit of a pain because you want to know that there is actually something working. It will eventually give you a signal. Anyway, I think for £55 for that, I think that is a pretty decent buy. I think that's going to look really nice. And I've actually got an old PCIe Gen 3 riser cable. So if I put that into a little build with it vertically mounted, I think it is going to stand a lot better chance of actually someone buying it. Which is ultimately what I'm trying to achieve. There is a case on Amazon at the moment made by First Player Gaming. I think it's called the M1A or something. It's about 30 quid on CCL at the moment. And I'm very, very tempted to get one of those. It's a miniature fish tank style case. It actually doesn't look too bad. I'll see if I can find it in a minute online. If anyone else can find it and post a link, I would be very grateful. But it's a very interesting case, like 30 quid. And it doesn't come with any fans. It's not the end of the world. You can put a 240mm rad in the top. And it's got space for 2 fans in the bottom. But it's glass on 2 sides. It's quite an interesting case, I think. I just realised I haven't even got around to looking at the other motherboard yet.
Hello, Candy.
Which is probably for the best. Right, actually... Oh no, I'll leave that RAM in there. Oh, not webcam, I want that one. Overhead camera. So let's take a look at the 6700 XT. It's funny actually that this is actually a similar size to the 1060. There isn't a huge deal in it. And this also actually has 2 HDMIs, which is pretty cool. I've got to be careful with this because otherwise I'll get in trouble from Graham from Adamant IT for destroying motherboards by putting them in wrong. Oh, that's so noisy. My apologies. Hello, Danny Boyd. Oh, I've got itchy nose. JB. Hey, JB. Why only 68 likes? Because people is mean with their likes. Come on.
Didn't you get it? Ugly Bob was like 69, didn't he?
I almost read that wrong there. Yeah. Danny Boy says, I'm slacking off at a job. I almost read that wrong. I thought you were doing something else despicable whilst being paid for it, which is obviously a good thing. Hey JB, how you doing? Hope you're keeping well. Okay, how do you plug in a PCI VGA card wrong? I know you can really mess up taking it out. Yeah, I think I had a board where I think the card had come out, but it had come out kind of that way, more so. So the actual tail, and you've got those like tails, haven't you, of the PCI Express card, those dragged across the circuits on the bottom. I think that was that was basically the reason why the card failed. Right, let's go back to webcam view. Is that working? Yes, it is. Well, kind of ish. Yeah, all that. Oh, we have lights on the top of the GPU.
And a whistle.
And a bit of coil wine. The fans have kicked in.
Does anyone
That's
else's
a good start.
cats respond to whistling?
Does anybody else's cats respond to whistling? I know dogs do, but cats...
Candy does.
It looks like it's working. The fans are spinning. Candy does, yeah. Candy comes... If you whistle a tune, Candy will generally come in. I'm not going to do it now because there may be users which have sensitivities to whistling, which I do actually.
And George does.
Alrighty says no bang. No. Gaff's...
I was a bit too late on the finger there.
She's gone.
He knows I'm going to do it when it's the normal button. It's got to be random.
What did JB say? Thanks. Yeah, we're good. Nice weather has been happening. We like that. There's an MV case on Amazon. Oh, that's what I was talking about. Let me see if I can find that case a minute to show you. CCL. It's on Amazon as well, but I think on...
What was the case name?
It's First Player Gaming. If you just type in First Player, all products should come up. First Player Gaming. It's one of the cheapest ones they do. It's like 30, maybe £32, I think, or £27 plus postage.
Oh yeah.
Next one. Show more products. I'll have to find it. Yeah. I'll find it. Graphics cards, other cases. Sort by price. They might have sold out. There we go. Oh yes, it's the Miku. Well, that's quite nice as well.
Hey Otis.
Yeah, that might actually be better. There's two potentials. Let me get you to the Stream Desktop. So you've got this one here. This is the First Player MV5, which David's just noticed, I think. That's actually not too bad, although it's got a weird thing. So the motherboard kind of overhangs the fans. But I don't dislike that. I think I've actually reviewed this very similar case already. So yeah, that's okay. don't mind that. But the other one is the Miku. So this one's like a little tiny one. Hello.
Mayhem. A bit off topic of the case.
Mayhem. How does £1,300 sound for a 4090 Super, 7800 X3D, 32 gig AI, GPU, cooler, blah blah blah? It sounds a bit expensive, but I'm not too sure. There's Mayhem's question. If I put it on the screen there, yeah, it depends on the case, the AIO, the cooler, the branding. SC's 990. It's probably okay. The 850 watt PSU, yeah, probably is about right. Is that for new or used? I guess that's going to be used. Yeah, I think that's probably okay. So anyway, yeah, that is the case. I think it's quite cute, quite compact, and I think it'd be nice, quite an interesting one to build in. Don't think there's much room in the back, but you've got all this mesh around the sides and on the bottom. So your airflow is going to be like 2 fans in the top, pulling air up through the bottom, etc. Yeah, I don't dislike that. But until you actually see it in person, you never really know, do you? That's what I was thinking for the Tomahawk Micro ATX build. And again, for £27 or £28, seems like a bit of a bargain. And I suppose if I get to do a video on it, unboxing it, at least I might generate a little bit of income to pay for it. Anyway, we'll see.
Made like a little box shape over there.
Yeah.
Candy's in there.
Oh, Candy. Right, let's go back to our GPU. And where's the mouse?
Looking to get my brother over to PC, but might wait for a PC build instead of him getting PS6 so in a few years' time.
Yeah, £300 sounds about right. I would probably like it to be cheaper personally, but that's me. Device manager. Just want to make sure this is actually showing. The power supply I think is dying on its ass already. Yeah, I won't bother installing the drivers. I'll just run the benchmark. You can tell if the drivers are working or not, or if the car's working. And hopefully we are still muted. Oh, don't want to move that one. Ooh. I'll move myself there. Oh, excuse me. I think that noise is coming from. Yeah, the noise is coming from the fan. I was worried that it was going to be the GPU. But it's not, the GPU is silent. Happy days. What's the frames per second like? Is it about 250 odd? That should be what I'd get, I think. Yeah, 300 so there. It should be about 300-ish. Yeah, it will be choppy because I think it's only 30 frames per second. Let's run the benchmark. If it passes a benchmark, I'll be happy. I will obviously do more in-depth testing before I do anything else with it, but so far it looks alright. I'm quite pleased with that. It works for a start, which is always nice. Oh, is it not muted again?
I don't know. I saw a Sky Stalker said maybe you shut up for a minute so they can hear the noise. I don't know.
No, mute the bench. Is that muted now? Are we muted now? Actually, if I could just turn off the USB HDMI, can't I? There we go. That should do it. There we go. There you go. Sorry about that. Yeah, that's good. Noise coming from the benchmark, okay. Mayhem says, I would also like to say thanks a lot for the AMD chipset BIOS update guides and just various build help guides. It has helped me build 2 PCs for myself and a PC each for both my cousins. Awesome. I'm glad they've been helpful. Sometimes it's really weird making videos because you get to a point when you're making your own or building your own PC stuff that you kind of, oh God, what are you doing?
Princess Leia.
Kath's got a print. Oh, I was going to get the camera on you then. That was too good an opportunity. Kath's done her Princess Leia bunchy things around the side of Red. thinking she Princess Leia or some stupid shit. Oh, it's your birthday. You're good. Carry on. Oh my god, that power supply sounds like it's going to explode. There's so much heat coming out of here. Yeah, that power supply sounds like it's going to... Can you hear the power supply fan? That power supply's going nuts. I might have to turn it off. We're still benchmarking now. How far away from the end? Because I'm a bit concerned. Oh my god, we're only at scene 14. Right, I'm going to call it. Where's the escape button? It's that one, isn't it? Ah! Quit! Please, before it dies and explodes.
Bang!
Yeah, that'd be a proper bang moment, wouldn't it? That power supply don't sound healthy at all. Skystalker says, I admire your work ethic, Mike. You consistently make great content. It has helped me immensely. Oh, that's very kind of you. Hydro says, happy birthday as well. And Mayhem says, May the 3rd be with you one day out. Oh yeah, of course, yeah, it's May the 4th, isn't it, tomorrow? May the 4th be with you. And isn't there supposed to be in one of the Star Wars games being released free of charge tomorrow on Epic Game Store, I believe? Probably the latest one, which no one bought. JB, has James or Ugly been around? I haven't seen James Miscellaneous for a while, once or twice. Ugly Bob's been gone. Don't know what has happened to him. He's disappeared off the face of the planet entirely. I'm hoping it's not the worst, but I'd be disappointed if it's kind of not, if you understand what I mean. Shame to see someone just disappear like that completely without warning or trace to the entire community. Like he hasn't.
They did remove themselves from our Discord.
Yeah. It's very strange that they removed themselves from the Discord like ages after, probably about 6 weeks after, like complete no contact at all. Yeah, not.
Gifts.
We sent Christmas gifts and other people did, and yeah, they've had no replies either. So it's complete and utter radio silence from Bob. So yeah, I hate to think what has happened there.
But if anyone has heard from him,
yeah, if anyone else heard from him, just let us know he's okay. Very strange situation. So yeah, I don't know what happened to him. It's sad, really. Ashley says, I'll go with this. This channel pretty much helped me build my PC from scratch, decide on components, and set up my MSI BIOS, as well as a host of other stuff, hence why I subscribed. Thank you. It's funny, actually, the MSI BIOS ones generally be the ones that bring a lot of people in. We were out shopping in Bath a couple of weeks back, and of all the places to get recognised was in Primark store, which is like a clothing store here in the UK. And there was a guy on the till, and he recognised me and said, "Oh yeah, your video helped me with my MSI BIOS." And kind of like, as soon as he said that, I was like, "Yeah, you're definitely a viewer."
because you did have your t-shirt on.
Yeah, I did have a viewer. I did have my t-shirt on, and it said Mike's Unboxing, and he kind of clocked me a couple of times, but then he struck at the conversation. I thought I pulled, yeah. But it was kind of strange. Hello Thanos. How you doing? Has Lord of Rectus landed a job yet? No. Doesn't appear so, no. He's been applying for jobs over here in the UK. Sky says Mike got recognised in the bath. Yeah. That happens all the time. Des Ducker says, sorry, forgot. Happy birthday. Kath says, thank you.
Thank you. I think they meant to you, didn't they?
Jason says, have you ever met anyone famous?
Quite a few.
Yeah, because I used to work in TV, so kind of like, that was my kind of daily thing of meeting people which were kind of famous-ish.
Like Will's mum from the In-Betweeners.
Yeah, Will's mum from the In-Betweeners.
She was so tall.
Yeah, she was really tall. Who else is there?
Pat Butcher.
Pat Butcher, yeah.
This is just the ones I know.
Right, Pat!
You did Jasper Carrot, didn't you? Not Jasper Carrot, what's the other one? Saturday Night Comedian. What's his name? Russ Abbott.
Oh yeah, Ross Abbott. Met Ross Abbott.
Who else?
Viali said I might look in the mirror. Ah, someone famous. JB27 says Michelle Thorne. I met her. I've had many conversations with Michelle Thorne.
Have you?
Yeah, at school.
Did you know her at school? Did you?
Yeah, she was in the year below us, wasn't she?
Not below.
Well, below me. Yeah. Yeah, Michelle Thorne went to the same school as me and Kath.
She used to come in my work.
Yeah, she used to pay her banking into Kath's bank, which was in our thing. What am I allowed to say that?
I don't think so.
Oh, well,
are you?
okay. Doesn't matter. It's not there anymore. Yeah. So, yeah, some moderately famous people I'd see like kind of most days. It was a little bit surreal, really.
Who else was that?
But then there's a lot of them who are like
Well,
really
the
cool.
Dempsey Makepeace thing. They all thought the world of her, didn't they?
Oh yeah,
Dennis, someone.
Glennis Barber from Dempsey and Makepeace.
They were just like.
Thanos says if I saw you, I would take a selfie.
Oh.
Bless you.
Dave Aiken did, didn't he?
Yeah. Ashley says, when I worked for Orange, I managed Robert Plant's mobile account. That guy was fun in store. That's awesome. David Earls met Queen Elizabeth II.
Quite often, though.
Zero Defects met Terry Nutkins in Homebase. So random.
But with Casualty, mostly it was people either starting their career
Or ending their career.
or had no career and was
Yeah.
trying to revive it.
Yeah.
Casualty. But
That was it. Yeah, Casualty is where basically people's careers went to either begin or die. So, yeah, depending if
Or
they're...
trying to revive it because it was dead.
Yeah.
That's my view. Of
It
anyway.
was quite funny. There's quite a few people that come through there, Casualty, who were kind of...
Winslet thing was.
Kate Winslet, she was on it.
Winslet thing.
Robson Jerome. Both of them were in it at one point. Who else have you got that has been on... Oh,
Gemma thing.
yeah, Gemma Atkinson. Who else was there? Oh, I was thinking of someone then. The one of the young girls who played the young version of Wonder Woman in the Wonder Woman film. She was one of the lead Doctor's daughters in the series, and she went off to Hollywood to make that. So she's been in Hollywood. Can't think of her name now. But yeah, there's been quite a few.
I'm rubbish with faces, so I never even knew they were famous.
Charles Ballard says, I've been to the San Diego Comic Con 6 times, so I can't even count the celebs I've met and got the autographs off. Yeah, celebrities, I don't know. I never wanted to work in TV. I hated the idea of working in TV. But it was like, well, this is too good an opportunity financially to not do. And hopefully I won't have to mix with them at all. But then I ended up having to mix with them like most of the time, which was horrendous.
But that's more so when it moved to Cardiff.
Yeah,
though.
when it was in Bristol, I didn't have to, like, we were in a separate building across from the studio.
Not we,
So
just you.
kind of very vaguely, well, very rarely even saw anybody, let alone talk to them. But then when they moved it to Cardiff, the prop store was literally around the outside edge of the studio, so you can get props in and out quick. So yeah, we were kind of, every single time they changed scene or whatever, the whole camera crew, the film crew, the actors, they'd all walk past the office and like, hi Mike, hi, hi, hi. You do that for like about 5 minutes until they'd all gone, and it's like, Christ, get off. We're trying to cut up some wood here for our log burner. Get out my pop store. Oh dear. Fallon says, Kath, anyone recognise you by the voice? I don't think so. Paul Lamont says, Casualty was the reality show from the 90s. Kind of was, really, wasn't it? It was really good in the 80s and 90s. We used to watch it all the time. And in fact, really, up until the point of about 2 years before I left, that's when we stopped watching it, because it's just like, oh God, I can't face this anymore. It was horrendous. Just regurgitated all the time.
Unbelievable.
Des Ducker says, I had the misfortune of meeting James Corden. Yeah. Yeah. less said about him, the better, I think. Charles says, I did ride in the elevator with Neil Gaiman once. Yeah, we met, because Casualty was filmed on the same site as Doctor Who, we met most of the Doctor Who crew and cast, and Peter Capaldi and
I didn't meet him. That was before my time.
David Tennant,
Woman.
the other guy, I can't think what his name is now, who was in Terminator, and the Jodie Whittaker. I was gutted actually because Kylie Minogue was in one of the episodes, but didn't get to see her. I'd have liked to see Kylie Minogue in the flesh because she's only like 3 foot or something, isn't she? Put her inside one of them Daleks. She started singing it to sound like a Dalek. I should be so lucky. Oh dear.
I think it was on my birthday. You took me to the TARDIS, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
And
Yeah.
I was meant to be impressed, and it's like, but they've stolen all our props.
Yeah, wasn't it? Best part of Casualty was guessing how the character in the opening scene was going to get injured. Yeah.
And knowing when the end was from that scene.
David Underhill's trumped us there completely, I think. He's met Ray Meager, Alf Stewart.
Oh, cool. Go on, babe.
I can't. I want to do Alf Stewart voice, but I can't because I'll just go into some rant.
Go on. Lord Erectus.
Can't do
You
it.
owe it to him.
And Steve Wozniak as well. He's awesome. That's a pretty decent celeb list right there. Oh, wow. Hydro says, I chilled for the weekend in the 90s when I skated with Tony Hawk when he was in the UK. That's pretty cool. Oh, Rainbow Stripes. Is it timed out screensaver? It's that one. Yeah, there we go. It's still working. Right, I think the graphics card works. I'm happy with that. I'm gonna take it out because I do need to do further testing on that. Let's go back to the main camera. Anyway, I'm pretty well. Yeah, the fan stop seems to work as well. Didn't get very hot, but it did torture our 500 watt power supply. So there you go. Word to the wise: if you're going to be using a Radeon RX 6700 XT and you're going to be using a 3900X, probably don't go with a 500 watt power supply. It's probably not a good idea. It might even be a 550 actually, but it probably is not a great idea. Ari Wolfman's in the house. I'm so late. Never mind. At least you're here. Steve Wozniak seems pretty cool. Yeah, I bet he is actually. I like... Oh, Viali says, only if she's wearing gold shorts. Kylie Minogue. Bless her. And all those that say in her.
There's been a fair few.
Yeah, that's right. What was it to say? I was going to say something else. I can't think what I was going to say. I was just about to say something, and it's quite pragmatic, and it's gone. Oh, I
Who's
forgot.
Steve Thingy?
Steve Wozniak. Wozniak. He is the co-founder of Apple Computer with Steve Jobs.
That's why I've heard his name.
I miss Steve Jobs. We need Steve Jobs back. Wonder if there's any way they can get his DNA from like a piece of hair or something and make him again. Like Dolly the sheep.
What's happened to Dolly the sheep?
Don't know. There's thousands of them. I've got to turn this off. That's making a horrible noise. Thanos, Mike, I always wondered if cloudy weather in England makes you feel down.
Yes.
100%. 150%. And best of all, without going into politics too much, basically, the UK is probably one of the cloudiest countries in the world, if not the cloudiest. Apart from maybe like, I don't know, Greenland or the North Pole or something like that. Like, in terms of sunlight, we don't get a lot of sunlight here. It's mostly cloudy, like, all the time, because we're a small island, so we're affected by that. So, yeah, we get a lot of cloud cover and a lot of rain. So, our government decides to invest 15 billion into renewables, i.e. solar, because we get so much sunshine. Now, I know I'm being facetious, you don't necessarily need sunshine for solar to work, but obviously to work at its optimum, kind of having sunshine is a really good idea. Then, last week, they came out with a new thing where they're going to try and dim the sun using aerosols in the sky. It's like, we constantly, almost on a daily basis, have the sun dimmed by cloud cover. We don't need any more things in the sky to block out the sun. We have English weather, which is the perfect thing for blocking out sun. And it does it spectacularly well 50 weeks of the year. So, yeah, it's one of those things. I know a lot of other newspapers and outlets around the world are kind of laughing at us for our government's stupidity. Yeah, I honestly don't. And the thing is, if you look on a map, look how big England is as a country.
Or not even England, UK.
Or the UK as a whole. Look how small it is. Even if we do block out the sun over our little island, it's going to make so little difference. It's not even worth considering. It's just, yeah, absolutely bananas. Ashley says Holland would like a word. How many different words do they have for rain? Yeah, I think Holland actually are very close to us in terms of their climate. Very similar climate. But I think they have... am I right? Holland is landlocked, isn't it? Am I right in thinking Holland is landlocked? So they have a slightly better climate? I could be wrong. Rasher says Andy is not going to be happy with this section of the stream. It is. I don't know. It's just bizarre. Like, that's like me saying, I don't know. I'm trying to think of an analogy which is so dumb that it makes sense. Yeah, it's like I'm going to go and invest a load of money and put in solar panels on my roof, but I'm going to put them on the inside rather than the outside, which is basically the same principle. It's absolutely like bananas. I honestly, you know, when you get those designs or someone builds something and you think, like, at which point in the actual design process did somebody not stand up and say, like, isn't this a bit daft? Like, isn't this a bad idea?
But that's the whole build back better thing, isn't it?
You know, like the person who works at Nvidia, when they come out with the 8 gig cards of the 5060 Ti, and they say, yeah, we'll do an 8 gig version, at which point there should be somebody in that office or in that meeting like, Jensen, can I have a quick word? But no, they're like, oh, bravo. Yeah, can I have a pay rise? Would you like your bottom cleansed? My tongue is available. It's just, yeah, it's absolutely bananas. Our government is a very, very bizarre government. I don't know who is pulling the strings, but clearly it isn't the government, because there's no way that they would make decisions that stupid and actually stand on a stage and say, I'm your MP or I'm your Prime Minister. There's no way that somebody would do that if they were doing the things that they're doing. Clearly, someone else is saying, like, right, this is what we're doing. You just stand there and tell everybody. And they're like, oh, this is what we're doing. With someone's hand at their backside. I don't know. It's just nuts. Jason says, John David Sullivan says, somehow worse than the Taurus. Yeah. I don't think anyone was entirely surprised, but there was hope. But that's been completely, yeah. It's bizarre. Which is a shame, actually, because I would quite like to get solar panels. Although, in England it is sort of pointless. You're not going to get the returns that you'd get in a better climate. Anyway, if you live in certain areas of the UK where maybe some of the coastal areas where it's a little bit better, yeah, maybe. Or if you're further down south, probably going to be a better solution. But yeah, we're a little bit too close to the Midlands for that. JB says, I got my share of natural vitamin D this morning. Yeah, I've been enjoying that, actually, getting out in the garden, having a little bit of sunshine. It's been wonderful.
For 2 years already, have we?
Yeah.
Oh, about 2 weeks worth.
We've had almost a consistent week of basically nice days.
It's been over a week.
It was last Sunday, wasn't it? Saturday was awful.
Because you were out there when I was cutting the meat the Friday before, weren't you?
Yeah, it was a little bit. It was nicer. It wasn't as nice, but yeah, the temperature's been great. It's awesome.
Just right in it, not too hot, not too cold.
Nick Barr says, after Thursday, I bet our government are sweating. They don't care, do they? They're the thing is with the government, they all shout at each other when they're in Parliament and stuff. But as soon as they get out of Parliament, they go to the bar. They're all pally. They're all mates with each other. All of them. They're all mates with each other. No matter what they say.
All the parties.
All of them. They're all mates. They all get along together. They all like socialise outside of office hours type thing. They're all good. They're all best mates. But then they put on that sort of pretense of, oh yeah, we're doing this, and those a lot are doing bad things. It's all a charade. It's all a charade. Anyway, let's talk about computer stuff, shall we, for a minute? So I've still got one board left to test. It's too late. I'm not going to get involved in that right now because it's going to take a long time to strip the bench out. But hopefully, keep an eye out for micro ATX cases for me. If you see anything that looks interesting, which is around about the £30 to £40 mark, do let me know. You can either do it in our Discord. That would be appreciated. Second-hand or new, really. If it's interesting in second-hand, I don't mind. Ideally new, but yeah, if you can find anything, that would be fantastic. Because I do need to put the micro ATX into a case. I do also need an ATX case really for this board to go in, but I'm actually tempted just to leave it on here. I have got another B450 Pro 4 ASRock board, so I'll see what I can do with that. Drama for the sake of drama, says John Dave Sullivan. You're not wrong.
Hello, Dave.
Thanos says, Greece has the best weather for summer. Yeah, I bet it is. Ashley says, as a postie, my tan after this week is brilliant. Although bald head got slightly burnt. Yeah, mine's a little bit on that thing. And actually, what do you think of the colour of tonight's broadcast?
I think it looks better with just the one.
I've changed the lights, so we've gone back to the lights that we used to use originally. Because the other one started flickering, it was doing some weird stuff, and it was really harsh. So now we've just got our softbox light, and I've dialed the camera down into, I think, 4,500 kelvins, whereas normally we run it at 6,000. So I'm hoping the colour looks a little bit more natural. Certainly I've noticed the fans don't seem to be blowing out as much, and the Mike's Unboxing sign is, you can read it, it's not completely blown out. So hopefully it's looking a little bit better. Light looks good, says Hydro.
Tell James he's got to refresh. It will always stay on the same amount of lights when he joined.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. If you refresh your screen, JB, it should go up, the likes.
Hello, Dave.
What did someone said there? Saw someone say something about the lights then. Warmer lighting, says Ashley Strachan, but doesn't seem as sharp an image. Now, actually, I have changed the decoder on the OBS. So OBS is now running on AV1, so it will be slightly more muddy.
It might be the rum and the sunburn, though.
Yeah, it could be the rum and the sunburn. But yeah, it possibly shouldn't be quite as In theory, it should be sharper. Anyway.
And we've only got one of the two lights on.
Yeah, I've only got one of the two lights on, so we put the other one on. I'll put the other one on briefly.
Wake yourself up before work.
Yeah. So that is, you have to wait for the camera to realise what's going on and dim itself down. I think it's a little bit too bright, isn't it? With that other one on. It gets used to it eventually.
Nick Barnes, while you're waiting.
It hasn't changed much, has it, actually? Anyway. Nick Barnes question, what about the Ions micro case on Amazon for £39? I will take a look at some of the Ions range. I need to get in contact with Ions again, actually, and see if they've got any review samples they want to bequeath me. David Under says, Mike, I found the RTX CX200M is a bargain, only $69. Yeah, I will look at the CX200 actually. Yeah, Nick Barnes or the Miko M12. The Miko is the one I was thinking of actually. I've got it actually in my basket.
I thought it's just the way your trousers are.
Dutch Jan says, Mike, C case IO in the best place. Okay. Yeah, the Miko's two-sided glass. That's absolutely, yeah, that's what I was thinking. That's the one I looked at just now at CCL. Should be the same one, in theory. I think that's what I had. Yeah, that's what I looked at just now. Okay, so Kath's yawning now, so that means that we've got to go to bed. Been told.
Stop, I've been yawning since 2 o'clock.
Mind your eyes.
That's evil.
It's not evil, it didn't go in your cup.
Where is it?
Went on your keyboard, didn't it?
Oh yeah, I see it. You flicked an elastic band at me on my birthday.
I did flick an elastic band on your birthday. And
Me.
that's your gift.
Is it my card as well?
Hydro says, what was that case, site with the case on? That was CCL here in the UK. Sharkoon MK6 RGB black. You never know. JB says, am I the only one here who plays War Thunder? I think a lot of people do play it, but I struggle to get into it, if I'm honest. I don't understand the mechanics of it very well. I think that's the same with a lot of games these days. They don't come with manuals and they're actually quite difficult to get. Like I found that with Robocop, Rogue City. The actual mechanics for leveling up and increasing your performance was very kind of a convoluted experience. It wasn't until you really played the whole game through and then started the new game plus that you kind of understood what you could do with your skills and how to progress and how to do it in a more logical way. But I guess that's all part of learning the game, isn't it? Okay, so I think that's going to wrap this stream up. Hopefully you've enjoyed yourselves. We're massively thankful for all of your kind donations and generosity, and also for the cacophony of conversation that we have put ourselves through. Hopefully you've enjoyed tonight's stream. If you haven't already, obviously, smash the like button. If you want to see more content of this on a daily basis, maybe consider hitting subscribe and the chime notification. That way YouTube will go, ooh, you want to see more of this content, and it might even consider putting it on your feed. You never know. We might actually, I don't understand the YouTube algorithm. I really don't. There's channels I subscribe to and I never get, oh, there's a cat. And I never get notified of any of their new videos. It's like, I've subscribed, please put it in my feed. That is why I clicked on the button in the first place. Anyway, I digress. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for your generosity. If you want to continue the conversation on our Discord, you're more than welcome to. I'll put the link in the chat there. Don't forget, obviously, you can buy your desk. Oh, actually, Technically Stable, who do the desk pads, there's a 20% off discount at the moment, which I think might even stack with our discount code. Excuse me. So if you do want to get yourselves a mouse pad, custom one of your own designs, whatever you want to do, there is a big discount on at the moment. I'll put a link for that in the chat as well for Discord. Sorry, for the brain's gone now. Technically Stable desk pads. And obviously Premium CD Keys is still there for all your CD keys and Windows licenses, all that kind of good stuff. Hopefully they're going to get some Windows 11 LTSC licenses soon. A lot of people have said to me about the LTSC and suggested making videos on it. And I understand where you're coming from, but LTSC isn't quite the holy grail that people think it is or want it to be. It is like it's not a proper Windows version as such. The LTSC, well, the IoT LTSC, which is what people want to get involved with. The IoT version is really, really, really stripped down. So it isn't ideal for everybody. If there's some parts of the Microsoft operating system that you actually like using, possibly OneDrive, Windows Store, various other things which are part of the normal Windows releases, those are stripped out of LTSC. And they're not always easy to reincorporate. And some programs will not run properly on LTSC. So it isn't quite the holy grail. For gamers, if you just game in, it's great, no problems. But if you use your PC for lots of other things as well, including things like online banking, potentially it can cause issues because of the type of Windows that it is. So I'm still investigating it a little bit before I do a video on it, because I don't want the feedback later on down the line that people are like, whoa, this is rubbish now, I can't do such and such. It's like, yeah, I should have researched it. So anyway, that's where I'm at with that. Yeah, we'll keep it updated as soon as we can. Sorry, I waffled on way too long. Thank you all so much. I think that's all I can say. And yeah, Kath says thank you as well. And we'll see you with another new video on Monday, even though it's a bank holiday here. We carry on working regardless.
And your birthday eve.
And my birthday eve. Anyway, another year older. Skystalker says, you need to do a video on it, Mike, because I don't understand the purpose of its existence and why anyone would want it. Yeah, I think that is it. It does need explaining on a more kind of layman's way. I've seen a lot of channels which have discussed it and they're doing things with it, and they're hyping it as being something that it kind of could be, but it's not for everybody. It really isn't. Anyway, thanks for watching. Catch you all next week. Have a fantastic weekend, bank holiday, etc., etc. And yeah, I think that's it. Where is my stream thing? Thanks, everybody. Have a great weekend. See you later. Bye.